chickadees. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Chickadee Coop. So happy to have you. And I have not explored this particular case and all of the subjects related to it since I've started live streaming. But I will tell you, it is one of my favorites because I can remember back in the day when I was a nobody to all of you. You didn't even know I existed. And yet I was following this case very, very closely. So I'm super excited to talk about all things related to the Alex Murdaugh case. I'll also tell you there's so much, I don't think we will finish all of it tonight. And that's okay, because we're going to come back and hang out again on Wednesday for Wine and Crime Wednesday, and we'll finish it up because we got to talk about Mandy Matney, and we got to talk about Mark Tinsley, and we have to talk about Courthouse Becky. There's a lot, y'all. Things are busy in the Low Country. They know how to party. And I mean, when it comes to all the legal stuff, they know how to party. So our marvelous mod, Kelly, how dare she? She had IRL tonight, in case you don't know what that is. That's in real life. She had real things to do this evening, so she won't be with us. But I'm here. You're here. I mean, isn't that really all that matters? We still love our Kelly, but we're going to keep on going, even if she can't be on with us. So let me say hello to everyone. Oh, Murphy. Boy, I followed Matney during Murdaugh trial. This should be interesting. Oh, there's a lot. I hope I do it justice. And the little drummer boy. Hey. Peppermint PJ is back with us. And Jillian. Glad to have all of you. Please make sure that you leave your DNA on the thumbs up like button. If you haven't become a member, you can certainly do that and get cool emojis. And I have a lot of members only ideas. And we may be getting close to me doing a members only live stream, but we'll see. I have some very specific topics that I am thinking that I need to cover. Things they're more like historical cases that because I've been a true crime nut since as far back as I can remember. And so there are a lot of things that I followed for many years, long before I came on the tubes of you. All right. So Mandy Matney. Oh, also my friends on the Twix. I don't know if there are many of you out there, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you, everybody on Replay Crew, for watching. I do ever so appreciate the time that you give me and attention. But back to the story tonight. So Mandy Matney. Mandy Matney is a young lady who was or is an investigative journalist in the Low Country. If you are not familiar with the Low Country, that is in South Carolina. It's a specific area in South Carolina. And I have more people I have to say hello to. Hey, KS Granny and Coffee Nut, you go right ahead and be a peeper. We don't mind a single bit. And Mandy Matney was working for a news organization that is called Fitz News. Fitz News, Will Folks is the individual that was running Fitz News, and she worked there. And I don't know all of the specifics, but there was some sort of falling out between Mandy and Will Folks, and I also believe Liz Farrell, because Liz worked there as well. So they went out on their own and ultimately created I believe it was called the Alex Murdaugh. I don't remember now what the original podcast was called. It ended up turning into Cup of Justice, I believe is the name of it now. I followed her, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with all of you. I had a very difficult time listening to Mandy's podcast because her vocal fry drove me around the bend. And so I ended up spending a fair amount of time listening to Impact of Influence with Matt Harris and Seton Tucker. Unbelievable content. They did a great job following everything that was happening with the Murdaugh case at the time. So let me say hello to more people, because first off, KS Granny's been a member for 4 months. Shut the front door. Thank you so much. You've been around since the beginning. And Mrs. Georgia Mom is with us again this evening. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Elizabeth Bailey is back. Happy to have you. Yes, Peppermint PJ. Yeah, it was so distracting. It was very, very distracting. And so I had a difficult time listening to her podcast because of that, but she had good content. Now, I say all that, and there were some connections, shall I say, between Mandy Matney and some of the individuals very close to the case. Definitely one of those is Eric Bland. And Eric Bland was on her podcast many, many, many times. He, if I'm remembering correctly, is kind of the one that coined the phrase that even the wealthy need to drink out of the same cup of justice that we drink out of, something to that effect. And I happen to know that there was a close link between Mandy and Mark Tinsley. Who is Mark Tinsley, you may ask? Mark Tinsley is the attorney that was representing the Beach family. Why does this matter to you? I'm going to back up for those who don't know anything about this case. Disney Nerd is with us too. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Disney Nerd. And you've missed us, chickadees. I'm so happy that you're back. And yes, we're talking Alex Murdaugh again. So Mark Tinsley was representing the Beach family. The Beach family are the parents to Mallory Beach. Mallory Beach was on the boat that it is alleged Paul Murdaugh was driving and drove into the pilings of a bridge, and they did not find her until days later, and she was killed in that accident. Happy to have you, Murphy, even though you are a first-timer. No better time than the present to start. And so Mark Tinsley was representing the Beach family, and he was pressing Alec to provide financials. And that is kind of like the immediate straw that broke the camel's back in what I believe prompted Alec to commit a double homicide. I don't have to say alleged because he was convicted, although it's on appeal. I understand. The reason it's on appeal, in case you all aren't familiar, is because of Courthouse Becky. We're going to talk about Courthouse Becky. Courthouse Becky did a bunch of this when she shouldn't have, and now there could quite possibly be massive appellate issues because of it. So that is how all of these parties intertwine. I hope I explained that well enough. There are other individuals that are involved in litigation and such, but we are going to focus firstly on Mandy Matney. And Mandy Matney's podcast is now part of Luna Shark, which is a production company. And Mandy also, you may all have remembered me completely fangirling on and on about, I wish Melissa was on with us because she is friends with, his name is escaping me now, the man that played Alec in the series that was on, I think it was Netflix, not positive, Netflix, Hulu, one of those that you pay for. And Mandy was very, very involved in the production of that particular series. If you have not seen the series, it is amazing, and you need to absolutely, as soon as possible, watch it because it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So Mandy Matney has found herself in a bit of a pickle. And it is because of some of the connections that she had with the individuals related to this particular case, the Alex Murdaugh, the double homicide. So we're going to start with, this was back, I believe, last summer when this particular, this was back in November. This particular article came out. Mandy Matney and her motions to quash in multiple lawsuits. So there is a lot of reading for me this evening. So I will do my best to stay hydrated. And you haven't heard, Disney nerd, you haven't heard anything. Oh no. Different thing. My bad. Y'all are having a side conversation about Buster. Got it. So this is Mandy Matney and her husband, David Moses. They both work on Luna Shark. Behind the shield, Mandy Matney's motions to quash in multiple lawsuits. One is denied, I think that's supposed to be one on deck. Now, I'll tell you, this article is coming from Crime and Cask, and they have a lot of documentation and information. And so that is why I am using their information because it seemed to be the most thorough when I started to research this. Hampton County, South Carolina, true crime podcaster and media executive Mandy Matney is asking another South Carolina court to spare her from testifying or producing records in the Beach versus Parker's Corporation wrongful death suit. I'm going to stop right there and explain what Beach versus Parker's Corporation is. Parker's Corporation is the convenience store / gas station in which Paul Murdaugh, on the evening that Mallory Beach was killed, that is the place in which he purchased alcohol. It is on surveillance cameras, and he used Buster's ID in order to purchase it. And so part of this wrongful death suit is the Beach family is suing Parker's because they should not have given the alcohol to someone underage. And so they are holding them responsible. So that's what this portion is about. Just so we're clear on this. I may have to do that several times to explain things. I hope it's not too much. And I'm really sorry if you already know this and you have to listen to me drivel on about it. Hey, Christine. Hi. Thanks for coming on back. But a close look at her motion to quash, filed November 12th, 2025, reveals new inconsistencies between her public schedule and the hardship she claims the subpoena would cause. A shield built on privilege. Matney's attorneys at Catton Mukin Rosenman LLP and the Bannon Law Group argue that a subpoena served by lawyers for Gregory M. Parker, owner of the Parker's convenience store chain, violates South Carolina's journalist privilege statute. The defendants seek records of communication with Beach family attorney Mark Tinsley and any payments or collaboration tied to mock jury or focus group exercises preceding trial. The motion insists Mandy Matney has no responsive documents, calling the request a harassment campaign against a journalist. It also claims forcing her to appear for a deposition would impose an undue burden because Luna Shark Productions, her company, relies entirely on her to generate daily revenue. Oh boy. Give me a 1 in the chat if you were a consistent listener of Mandy Matney's podcast. 1 if you were, 9 if you weren't. Oh, for heaven's sake. And then I drop the cap. And then I disappeared, and now I'm back. Okay, so I have kind of a little bit of a mix. Okay. Well, I can tell you one of the things that was a common theme that I recognized, and all of you that listened to her podcast, you may pick up on this theme, but there was a little bit of everybody was always out to get her. And I don't know if I'm the only one that picked up on that. There were times that it felt very rant-ish. I mean, I rant on here, but I feel like that's when there's something outrageous that we all witness together, that it's warranted. Hers would be ranting literally about her own situation. And I didn't care for that. It became a little whiny sounding, like, and I don't mean to be disingenuous or offensive, but I was just like, enough already. Like, do your job. We all have our own little private battles. I mean, I know y'all out here, y'all think nothing ever goes wrong in Ms. Demeanor's life. But I'm gonna tell you, stuff happens. Life happens. Everybody has life that happens to them, and you just got to navigate it and figure it out. So anyway, I say that because that same flavor of, oh, everybody's picking on me, the victimization thing, and maybe I am triggered or more sensitive to it because of my family situation. Not with Mr. Demeanor and my son, but my family situation growing up, that it's very noticeable to me. And I didn't care for that part of her commentary on her podcast, which is ultimately why I ended up listening to Impact of Influence with Matt Harris and Seton Tucker so much more, because they didn't do that driveling on there. So anyway, Exactly. Younger folks are so comfortable airing their dirty laundry these days. Time and place, man. Time and place. So, the timeline problem. What Matney's latest filing in the Parker case doesn't explain is how she maintained that same rigorous production schedule while spending significant portions of 2025 traveling for and promoting a fictional Hulu series based on the Murdaugh saga. It's Hulu. I thought it was Hulu. Court records note that Luna Shark produces 3 weekly podcasts, True Sunlight, Cup of Justice, and a companion to the television adaptation, but her attorneys give no details about how those shows were recorded while Mandy Matney was in Savannah and Brunswick, Georgia, for weeks of filming and production meetings, in Los Angeles and San Francisco, California, for media appearances and press tours tied to the series premiere, and in New York and Chicago for podcast conventions and network events, in Italy for an extended vacation. I agree, Murphy. I think she should have stayed in her lane. I think she's actually a very good investigative journalist. I think she may have gotten a little over her skis a little too much at times with this particular case, but it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. The motion frames Matney's workload as proof she can't accommodate a deposition, yet provides no explanation of who handled content creation during her absences or whether Luna Shark's daily revenue loss claim is accurate. That omission could weaken her credibility before the court and raise questions about the company's internal transparency. A company built on the story it covers. Luna Shark's success is inseparable from the Murdaugh and Beach cases. Its podcasts, live shows, and streaming tie-ins have created a profitable brand rooted in ongoing litigation. I'm going to pause for a moment here because I'll tell you, I see a very similar slippery slope happening. Y'all can tell me whether you see this or not. I have been calling it for many, many months. The Karen Reed clan. There are some very specific YouTubers, bloggers, investigative journalists, whatever you want to call them, that have exclusively done nothing but cover Karen Reed content. And while that may have been fantastic for a period of time, you at some point you have to realize you've made yourself a one-trick pony. And that's not going to play out long term. And so I am concerned watching what is happening with Luna Shark, Mandy Matney, and the Karen Reed movement, I guess, for lack of a better term for it. There is actually other content that can be covered. And you don't need to do drama. There is plenty of craziness in the world. There's plenty. So looking at Mandy Matney's situation, it is reminiscent to me seeing this. It's like, who came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, Murdaugh came first as far as the case goes. So I guess it would be the Karen Reed clan that's kind of mimicking what was happening with Mandy Matney. So just my 2 cents. If Matney's attorneys concede that her household income depends directly on keeping those productions active, making the argument that a single day of legal testimony would devastate her business seem exaggerated at best. If Mandy Matney was simultaneously filming, traveling, and profiting from a dramatized retelling of the same cases she claims to cover as a journalist, the court may find her dual roles incompatible with the protections of 19-11-100. That is a South Carolina statute. Matney now faces a separate and new defamation lawsuit. The Hampton County motion isn't the only courtroom battle confronting Mandy Matney. Just days earlier, a 64-page defamation lawsuit was filed in Richland County Court of Common Pleas, accusing Matney, her husband David Moses, and multiple Luna Shark media entities of publishing false and malicious statements about two South Carolina artists, University of South Carolina professor David Voros and Benedict College assistant professor Alexandra Stasko. Can you imagine what is happening? Filed November 7th, 2025, the complaint alleges that Mandy Matney and Moses used their podcasts, True Sunlight and Cup of Justice, to portray the couple as stalkers and harassers, claiming they engaged in online hate campaigns and threats of violence. Does this sound familiar to anyone? You can just let me know if this sounds like anything else happening. The plaintiffs call those statements entirely false and say they caused severe reputational and emotional harm, costing them art commissions, professional opportunities, and standing in the state's creative community. The lawsuit cites an August 26, 2025 episode, hate when that happens, episode of Cup of Justice in which Matney allegedly referred to Stasko as crazy and described both plaintiffs as parasites and unstable. The suit classifies those remarks as defamation per se, meaning the claims are so inherently damaging that harm is presumed under South Carolina law. Little drummer boy, I don't think there's been any witness intimidation yet, but hey, the night is young. Hey, Livy, happy to have you. It's okay to be late. You'll catch up. I've done a lot of yapping, and if you know anything about this case, you'll catch right up in no time. It also alleges that Matney and her media company weaponized their audience to intimidate the plaintiffs, pointing to on-air remarks where Matney said she would put their names in the SEO so negative search results would follow them online, an alleged indicator of actual malice. Oh boy, that doesn't sound like anybody else, does it? Wow. The Kawinky Dinkies are running over. This new action revives a feud that dates back to 2018 when Voros and Stasko were subjects of an earlier harassment-related article and later sued Matney and other parties in 2022. Matney was dismissed from that earlier case in 2023 by Judge Jocelyn Newman, daughter of Murdaugh trial judge Clifton Newman. We love him. Well, I love him. If y'all don't love Judge Clifton Newman, I don't know that we can be friends because he's the bomb diggity. He's right up there with Judge Everett as far as I'm concerned. But the plaintiffs claim her podcasts continued attacking them even after her dismissal. Yes, little drummer boy. Little Drummer Boy is the reason I dug into this because she put a snazzy little comment on the Twix. And I was like, oh, yeah, let me check into this. And oh, boy, here we are. Attorneys for Voros and Stasko argue that Matney's national prominence, including her role as a credited writer for Hulu's upcoming fictionalized Low Country series inspired by her Murdaugh coverage, has magnified the damage. They seek actual and punitive damages for defamation per se, defamation per quote, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, as well as an injunction preventing further defamatory content. Exactly. There's plenty of content to be had. Trust me, there are times I'm like, I don't know which thing I want to cover. No response has yet been filed by Matney or her legal team. The lawsuit underscores her growing exposure on multiple legal fronts, from protecting her records in Hampton County to defending her reputation in Richland County. It also comes as Luna Shark launches new crowdfunding campaigns to finance its investigative projects and legal costs, including a $30,000 FOIA general fund and donor-funded journalist commissions for 2025. It's dizzying, I know. How are who to related to the case? Are we talking about Mandy Matney? Oh, and they are not related to Murdaugh. This just happens to be because she's gotten so much prominence from the Murdaugh case that this has exacerbated the defamation. If she were, if she were like me, a little old nobody, then it wouldn't be such a big deal, but she's not. And so it is. And yes, defense fund incoming. Yet another lawsuit will move forward with Matney being deposed, says judge. This is where I believe there are issues. I don't know why she attacked the Stasko, Voros and Stasko. They weren't related to Murdaugh, no, but it sounds like this was something that was going on shortly before that whole thing blew up. Court filings show that Mandy Matney, represented by attorney Meredith Bannon of Bluffton, filed a motion to quash on June 20th, 2025, seeking to block a subpoena for her deposition and David Voros and Alexandra Stasko versus Allison Donovan et al. In that motion, Matney once again argued she was a journalist protected by South Carolina's reporter's privilege statute, claiming that any information sought had been obtained in the course of news gathering and was therefore confidential. She further alleged the deposition would impose an undue burden and that, as a non-party previously dismissed from the suit, her testimony was irrelevant to the remaining claims. Well, here's the problem I have with that. What were you reporting on and investigating into these art people? How is that protected in some way? What is your big investigation? I don't understand that part of it. Maybe it will become apparent. We'll all learn together, because I did not read this ahead of time. I just found the information and was like, okay, we're going to wing it. We're going to go with this, because y'all know I love doing that. On November 13th, 2025, the Richland County Court of Common Pleas denied Matney's motion after finding no error of law or overlooked fact in its prior ruling, and held that Matney must be deposed within 14 days of the order's entry. The decision confirms that the court rejected Matney's claim of privilege, clearing the way for the plaintiffs to question her under oath about her communications, sources, and reporting methods related to the Fitz News coverage of the University of South Carolina Art Department controversy. Well, there it is. There was an art department controversy. Now I'm going to have to look into that. The ruling represents a major procedural step in the long-running defamation dispute and underscores the limits of journalist privilege when the information sought is deemed material and not otherwise obtainable. What comes next? Judicial review of the current motion to quash is expected later this month. Now, remember, this was back in November 2025. If denied, Matney will likely face questions under oath about her communications with Tinsley, Luna Shark's production practices, and how her time was divided between documentary reporting and commercial entertainment. The result could set a modern precedent for how far South Carolina's journalist shield law extends when a reporter's work merges with profit, promotion, and portrayal. How true they are. So I'm going to take us on over to give me just a second here. I'm trying to make sure that I didn't put this in the wrong order because that would be really unfortunate. This is an actual article from Fitz News. Give me just a second. I'm going to check my date on this. Oh no, this is April 30th. Oh no, I did right. I did right. I was hoping I had. All right. Murdaugh appeal decision. Rumors swirl. And don't worry. I'm going to go back to the 64 pages because there was a link for that. We're going to go back to it. You got to just give me a hot second to get everybody up to speed on what I think we need to be up to speed on. And then we'll go back. Trust me. As we await word on convicted killer Alex Murdaugh's high-profile appeal of the guilty verdicts entered against him for the June 2021 murders of his wife and younger son, unverified claims regarding the timing of the impending ruling from the South Carolina Supreme Court have begun circulating. Here we go. Podcaster Mandy Matney, formerly of Fitz News, informed her listeners Thursday morning, April 30th, 2026, that a reliable source told her the court's 5 justices had already reached a unanimous decision in the case. A reliable source has confirmed to us that the South Carolina Supreme Court voted unanimously in favor of Alex Murdaugh getting a new trial and that their opinion should be official any day now, Matney claimed. I will tell you this. If Alex Murdaugh gets a new trial and Zachary Adams doesn't, I don't know what I'll do. I'm going to have to protest in some way or something. I will absolutely lose my mind if that happens. Oh, little drummer boy, she's got something for me here. She covered lawsuits by former instructors accusing Voros of sexual harassment, stalking, and the university of failing to address it. Oh, I think I did know something about this. USC later settled related suits for hundreds of thousands. Yes, I do remember this now. Oh, hey, Serenity. Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. I do vaguely remember this. Let's deep dive, Matney. I may have to now. I had no idea. We certainly don't want to believe that it's true, Matney said by way of prefacing her announcement, adding that she was merely trying to warn her audience to be prepared. I mean, it is what it is. It's the news. We don't, I mean, Courthouse Becky screwed this whole thing up. So you can't be upset with the justices and you can't be upset with Murdaugh. I mean, he's not getting out. Murphy, this is the part I don't know. I know there was something that happened between Fitz News and Mandy Matney and Liz Farrell. I just don't know what it was. I am not privy to that information. But that I remember there being a lot of innuendo in the podcasts that I listened to as that was going on. So it would probably be fascinating to go back and listen to all of it, knowing what I know now about all of it. Anywho, carry on, Janet. By way of clarifying, the Supreme Court cannot order a new trial for Murdaugh. What its 5 justices can do, and what many expect they will do, is reverse a controversial January 2024 decision by former South Carolina Chief Justice Jean Toll, which denied Murdaugh's request for new proceedings. We love Chief Justice Toll. Don't do that. Such a reversal would remand the entire matter back to the circuit court level. In other words, the case would start from scratch. Were that to happen, it would be entirely up to South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson, whose grand jury division oversaw the initial Murdaugh prosecution, to determine whether the notorious defendant would be tried a second time. Time to hydrate. I don't necessarily know that it's going to end any differently in a second trial. It all comes down to who you have as your jury when you voir dire. Cases are won and lost in voir dire. Justices heard oral arguments in Murdaugh's appeal on the morning of February 11th, 2026. During that hearing, lead prosecutor Creighton Waters was subjected to a withering barrage of questions related to documented jury tampering and alleged jury rigging at Murdaugh's internationally watched double homicide trial in early 2023. I watched that, and Poot, although I do not care for him, his style of delivery in that, he was very much on his feet, and I give him credit. He gained some respect from me during that proceeding, and Creighton Waters was even more fierce than I remember him being during Murdaugh's trial. So, yeah, I feel like that she spread a lot of rumors about Stephen Smith's death that proved not to be true. I don't know what the truth is with that particular death, but I don't necessarily think it's as nefarious as, I'm sorry, as Hank Brennan would say, nefarious as everybody originally thought. As we noted at the time, the 11th hour dismissal of juror Myra Crosby was decisive in securing the unanimous guilty verdicts against Murdaugh, leading to growing speculation about the circumstances which led to her ouster and who may have had a hand in engineering those circumstances. But do we know that? I'm pretty sure this is Egg Lady. Myra Crosby, I think, is Egg Lady. Given the nature and tenor of the justices' questioning back in February, it is widely believed Murdaugh's convictions and the 2 life sentences he subsequently received will be vacated. I mean, if this is all it takes, things are looking good for Zach Adams. We just need Judge Bradbury to tell us it's been a month since it was supposed to be out. I mean, for heaven's sake. Speculation regarding the Supreme Court's decision shifted into overdrive this week when its advance sheet, a preview of coming decisions typically published every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, was not released as expected. The court has offered no explanation for the delay, although it is not immediately believed to have any connection to the pending Murdaugh decision. And there's old Alec on the witness stand being questioned by the main man, Creighton Waters. Murdaugh, a once prominent attorney from Hampton County, was convicted in March 2023 of murdering his wife, 52-year-old Maggie Murdaugh, and younger son, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh, at the family's Colleton County hunting property on the evening of June 7th, 2021. The case drew national attention not only for the sheer savagery of the killings, but for the unraveling of Murdaugh's broader financial crimes, a web of fraud, theft, and deception that prosecutors insist supplied the motive for the murders. Oh, I think so too. Murdaugh's proximity to various alleged criminal enterprises and institutional corruption also elevated the significance of the case. In the aftermath of his murder convictions, Murdaugh pleaded guilty to numerous financial crimes at the state and federal level and was sentenced to decades in prison on those charges. Those lengthy sentences could be revisited, however, if he is ultimately cleared in connection with the murders of his family members. At the center of Murdaugh's appeal of his murder convictions are allegations that former Colleton County clerk of court Becky Hill improperly influenced jurors during the trial. Murdaugh's attorneys have argued Hill's conduct, including alleged comments to jurors about his testimony, compromised his right to a fair and impartial trial as guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Prosecutors have pushed back, maintaining that even if Hill acted inappropriately, there is no evidence her conduct affected the jury's verdict. That's the issue I have, is I don't know how you prove what she said had any bearing on how they ultimately decided the case. I'm not seeing that. A reversal by the high court would reset one of the most complex and resource-intensive cases in South Carolina history, although the underlying facts, attendant uncertainties, and lingering controversies of the case would remain very much intact. Is that really the direction in which the justices are leaning? Matney's credibility issues notwithstanding, we wouldn't be indulging in such unverified speculation if our sources weren't telling us pretty much the same thing. One thing is abundantly clear: when the ruling does come down, it is expected to carry far-reaching implications, not only for Alex Murdaugh, but for how South Carolina courts address allegations of juror misconduct in high-profile cases moving forward. Keep tuned to Fitz News. What's the PDF? Let me go take a peek. We need to read this. Let me make it bigger. Bigger. So this is order granting Parker's defendant's motion for rule to show cause. This matter arose from an ongoing discovery dispute over the deposition of non-party Mandy Matney, originally scheduled for November 5th, 2025. When was this? This was filed, April 30th. Yeah, this is the suit where she skipped the deposition. Yup. Okay, let's keep reading. Ms. Matney, through her counsel, filed several motions with the court seeking to quash or limit the deposition, which were denied. On March 16th, 2026, the court ordered Ms. Matney to sit for a deposition within 14 days. The deposition was noticed for March 27th. However, Ms. Matney did not appear at the deposition on March 27th at the noticed location in Bluffton. On March 30th, defendants Gregory Parker, Blake Greco, and Jason DeCruz, collectively the Parker defendants, filed a motion for rule to show cause as to why Ms. Matney should not be held in contempt for failing to comply with the subpoena and the court's March 16th order. After the motion was fully briefed on April 7th, the court conducted an evidentiary hearing at which testimony was taken, including sworn testimony from Ms. Matney. After carefully considering the motion, Ms. Matney's response and supplemental response, Ms. Matney's affidavits, the record, the arguments of counsel, and the testimony presented at the April 7th hearing, it is undisputed that despite a valid subpoena, Ms. Matney did not attend the deposition at the notice location in Bluffton. Accordingly, the court finds that the Parker's defendants have met their burden of establishing that Ms. Matney's disobeyed both a valid subpoena and this court's March 16th order. It is therefore ordered that a rule to show cause is granted, requiring Mandy Matney to appear on May 15th at 10 a.m. in the Moss Justice Center. And then the address, as indicated in the forthcoming notice of hearing, to show cause, if she can, as to why she should not be held in contempt of court for willfully failing to comply with the duly issued subpoena requiring her to appear for a deposition on March 27th at the notice location and the March 16th order of this court, and sanctioned as provided under the laws of this state. Wow. Yes, Murphy, her new deposition date is May 15th. Excuse me, everyone. I need to add this to the docket because we're going to follow this bad boy. Oh, heck yeah. 5:15. That's the day after Lake and Snelling and Brad Simpson have a hearing. Let me add it so I don't forget. Mandy Matney Depot. It's on my docket now. So on Sunday, that's going to show up on my upcoming dates. So there you have it. So it is ordered. And then this is everything saying it's ordered. Do it. Yes, Serenity. She claims she is being stalked and fear for her life. And that is my issue with all of this is she continues this same mantra of victimization and everybody's out to get me and I'm so special that they are trying to take me down and come on now, give me a break. Okay. This was back in November 12th. This was the motion to quash. I am trying to locate the 64-page defamation lawsuit. Isn't that what everybody's interested in? Let me see if I can get that pulled up and we will take a peeky weeky at that. Bear with me while I try to locate it. Oh, hey, Kristen's with us. Glad to have you back. Okay, let me continue. There is something here, but bear with me. I thought this would be the 64-page defamation lawsuit, but I don't think this is here. Give me a second. It says 64 pages, but I don't think it's 64 pages. So let me get this pulled up. I don't know if I can do it without. No, let me do this a different way. I have to have all the craziness on here so you all can see it. So. All righty. It's weird how I'm having to do this. So my apologies, but we'll get it. We'll get it going here. It's yeah, I don't want it that big. That's my issue. Let's try this a different way. Nope. All right. The above named defendants and their attorneys, you are hereby summoned and required to answer the complaint in this action, of which copy is herewith served upon you, and to serve a copy of your answer to said complaint. Plaintiffs David Voros and Alexandra Stasko. And let's go to the next page. I want to get to the actual complaint, so bear with me. This says she's a journalist residing in Hilton Head, South Carolina, who produces and publishes widely distributed podcasts. Next page. Facts common to all causes of action. Oh, hey, Kristen, she's back at it. Making it rain the memberships. Who we got? Who's getting memberships? Let's see here. Jillian is getting one, and Serenity is getting one, and Padme, Looby Loo, Lawsy C, you all are getting memberships, all thanks to the lovely Kristen Vasquez. I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, Kristen. If anybody has a link for the Zoom meeting while I'm reading, then I'm happy to do the Zoomy Zoom. Okay, the facts common to all causes. I think I need to get a drinky poo here. All righty. I wish I could make this larger for all of you, and unfortunately, oh, there we go. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Okay. Oh, maybe did I go just a little too big? Little too big. Perfect. Okay. Plaintiffs bring this action arising from a pattern of false and defamatory statements published by defendants Mandy Matney, David Moses, and the Luna Shark defendants. Defendants used mass distribution channels, including an email to a public university and a widely distributed podcast, to disseminate false statements about plaintiffs to encourage others to harass plaintiffs and plaintiffs' counsel, and to otherwise damage plaintiffs' reputations, livelihoods, and emotional well-being. Everybody that has a voice with one of these, stop it. Just stop it. Defendants command a significant and far-reaching audience. According to Matney's profile with Luna Shark Media, she is the CEO of a media network with millions of listeners, viewers, and members across the globe. Yikes. Her podcasts, including True Sunlight, formerly the Murdaugh Murders podcast, that's what it was called, and Cup of Justice, have ranked #1 globally on platforms such as Apple Podcasts. Given this level of audience reach and recognition, including the transition of the podcast into a scripted series on Hulu, the breadth of publication and the scale of exposure alleged in the complaint are credible and likely substantial. Defendants' actions are part of a continuing pattern of retaliation stemming from a 2022 lawsuit filed by the plaintiffs against Mandy Matney, her former employer FitzNews, and Allison Donovan for defamation and civil conspiracy. Why do I feel like I know that name, Allison Donovan? Why does that sound familiar to me, y'all? Anybody know? Anywho, carrying on. The lawsuit concerned articles Matney wrote for FitzNews, primarily focusing on a 12/9/2020 article in which Matney interviewed Allison Donovan about, that's why I know that name, about the 2018 lawsuit Donovan filed against Voros and the University of South Carolina for sexual harassment. That's why I know that name. Donovan's suit settled in 2019, and the case records were available to the public. Matney was dismissed from plaintiffs' 2022 case by Judge Jocelyn Newman on a motion to dismiss on the pleadings on July 14th, 2023. Murphy, you are a dream. You can send it to my email, which I am going to put in the chat for you right there. Okay. That order was issued after Judge Allison Lee denied Donovan's motion to dismiss on March 14th, 2023. And since then, Judge Daniel Coble denied Donovan's motion to dismiss on the pleadings on August 14th, 2024. The parties agreed to the dismissal of FitzNews after Judge Newman's order on July 20th, 2024. I vaguely remember them being removed from this lawsuit. I don't know why I vaguely remember that. I don't know what was happening in my life at the time. I'm trying to remember. The parties agreed. That action is still pending against defendant Allison Donovan. Since Matney's dismissal, The defendants have spoken publicly and disparagingly about plaintiffs and the 2022 lawsuit numerous times on their podcasts and through other channels while the case is still pending. Upon information and belief, defendants' recent statements were designed, at least in part, to injure the plaintiffs' reputations and to misrepresent the underlying facts in an effort to avoid accountability for the past actions of Matney. Regarding the conduct complained of herein, plaintiffs have never voluntarily interjected themselves into the public controversy. Based on the new standards set by Cruz versus Berkeley County School District, both Voros and Stasko should be considered private figures for purposes of this action. On my birthday, on November 8th, 2023, defendants from their Luna Shark Media email server sent an email to the University of South Carolina containing the following language. This is a problem. What does this sound reminiscent to all of you? It's like they have the same playbook and they're like, okay, next page. This page we do this. This page we do that. Hey, Janet, we're happy to have you. You'll catch up. No problem. You'll be live with us before you know it. David Voros, Alexandra Stasko. We are very concerned with these two disrupting the event or sending proxies. Voros and Stasko have a mostly closed but somewhat pending lawsuit against Matney for defamation for her reporting on Voros and still pursue online hate campaigns and threats of physical violence. The above quoted statement was false. Plaintiffs have never engaged in online hate campaigns, nor have plaintiffs made threats of physical violence. Defendants knowingly published this false statement in order to silence criticism of Matney's reporting and to inflict reputational harm upon the plaintiffs. This deliberate disregard for the truth is direct evidence of actual malice. I got to tell you guys, this ain't good. This ain't good. Just outsider looking in, it ain't looking good. Upon information and belief, Matney's actions were calculated to have the plaintiffs excluded from a public event sponsored by the University of South Carolina School of Journalism and to suppress their ability to participate in the subsequent public discourse. As a result of the false and defamatory statements published by the defendants, event organizers denied plaintiffs access to the event. Now, that is a problem. That's a problem. By accusing plaintiffs of making threats of physical violence, defendants falsely imputed criminal conduct to plaintiffs, which constitutes defamation per se. On August 26, 2025, defendants released episode 143 of Mandy Matney's podcast, Cup of Justice, which she hosts with journalist Liz Farrell and attorney Eric Bland, titled Collateral Damage: When Lawyers Are Losers, Guns Are Umbrellas, and Politicians Are Liars. In this episode, the podcast, produced, distributed, and monetized by the Luna Shark defendants, Matney discussed plaintiffs by name and made multiple false factual assertions presented as fact to listeners, including but not limited to the statements below. These statements were published, republished, and amplified to a broad audience. On the podcast, defendant Matney stated, Stasko has spent a great majority of her time creating different online profiles to harass, stalk, and defame me. Oh my word, I feel like it's like rinse and repeat. Are y'all getting like flashbacks of a certain hearing that took place recently that I felt my IQ completely diminish as I watched it? Plaintiffs have created this online harassment campaign against the victim, against other victims who have spoken out, and against me. Plaintiffs have proven to be unstable with the amount of just pure rage tweets, the amount of accounts. I can't tell you how many accounts I have blocked because of these two people. Ma'am, just ignore it. It's the craziest thing. You do not have to give negativity energy. I promise you. We have evidence of other depositions of this crazy Stasko woman admitting to having all of these accounts that she has harassed me from. Oh boy. Like, it can't just come down to these people have harassed me and others and have been such a menace to society. These statements are false. Plaintiffs have not stalked, harassed, or otherwise engaged in criminal conduct as alleged. Each of the above quoted statements is a factual assertion imputing criminal or harassing conduct and therefore constitutes defamation per se under South Carolina law. In 2020, there were many anonymous accounts commenting on the extensive reporting surrounding plaintiff Voros and others and sexual harassment lawsuits at the University of South Carolina. Plaintiff Stasko created anonymous accounts to provide a dissenting point of view and to point people to the publicly available exculpatory evidence that the media was ignoring. She remained anonymous out of fear of harassment and retaliation for going against the preferred narrative. This fear of harassment and retaliation and unwillingness to step into the public spotlight further supports Stasko's status as a private figure. Plaintiff Stasko anonymously encouraged others to read publicly accessible exculpatory evidence that was produced during discovery of the Donovan case that directly contradicted Matney's reporting. This included stories that hinged upon untrue sexual allegations and untrue statements made about plaintiff Stasko herself. This is a problem. Like this, I am not okay with any of this craziness that I see go on when I believe, this is just my opinion, when I believe some individuals get a little drunk with power. I'll just leave it at that. Plaintiff Voros has never commented on these matters on social media. He has only made a few statements to several newspapers defending himself after the lawsuits against him concluded. While Plaintiff Voros made limited public comments following the resolution of prior litigation, such statements were reactive and defensive in nature, intended solely to respond to pre-existing publicity generated by others. Under Cruz versus Berkeley County School District and controlling Supreme Court precedent, a person who responds publicly to defend themselves does not thereby voluntarily inject themselves into a public controversy. Accordingly, Plaintiff Voros remains a private figure. Thank you, Murphy. I'll take a look here as soon as I'm done reading. Matney, being aware of this from Stasko's deposition, where she states these facts about the operation of her anonymous accounts, maliciously published this false information to further damage Voros' reputation. Plaintiff Stasko questioned, critiqued, and messaged many reporters at the time, including reporters from the state newspaper, the Post and Courier, Fitz News, and the Daily Gamecock. Put succinctly, the hook of Matney's reporting was that Donovan, while on an art-related trip in Italy, walked in on plaintiffs having sex, air quotes, which Donovan alleged was the catalyst for being sexually harassed by plaintiff Voros. This allegation was unsupported by contemporaneous evidence and contradicted by later testimony. Exculpatory evidence in the public docket available to Matney and others since 2019, in which plaintiff Stasko attempted to highlight, includes but is not limited to contemporaneous day-to-day Facebook messages between Donovan and her mother during her time in Italy, which make no mention of walking in on sexual acts or experiencing sexual harassment. Donovan's Facebook messages to University of South Carolina authorities sent while she was still in Italy and complaining about her situation there likewise contain no reference to walking in on sexual acts or sexual harassment. Donovan's official USC Equal Opportunity Program complaint, a 6-page single-spaced narrative authored a month after her return to South Carolina, contains no allegation of walking in on sexual acts, sexual harassment, or any of the other salacious claims later advanced in her lawsuit. Donovan specifically told Dale Moore, the USC ombudsman, that there was no sexual harassment in Italy. She was questioned about this admission during her deposition. In numerous emails to USC EOP investigators, Donovan complained about procedural issues, but at no time mentioned walking in on sexual acts, sexual harassment, or any of the other sensational claims later asserted. Her presidential review of the EOP complaint also omits any mention of walking in on sexual acts or sexual harassment. Donovan's 2018 lawsuit marked the first and only time she alleged that she walked in on sexual acts and was subsequently sexually harassed. Emphasis added. In her deposition, Donovan recanted numerous sexual allegations originally included in her complaint. Emphasis added. Yikes. In her second amended complaint filed after her deposition, Donovan was required to revise or remove those allegations accordingly. Yikes. This is not good. Plaintiff Stasko finally directly emailed Matney, letting her know Donovan told her lies in her interview and urged her to investigate further. She also emailed Matney's editor at the time, Will Folks, to alert him of the falsehoods. Both emails went unanswered. I got to get a drink. What in the world? You made an allegation? Did you think you were going to have to speak about it under oath? Ma'am, what are you doing? What is happening? Why? Okay, on we go. Matney never contacted plaintiffs to get their side of the story. On the podcast, Matney made further statements. They don't have jobs. Sorry, nobody likes their artwork. And sorry, nobody wants to buy their artwork. And sorry, like they really suck at life. That's just mean. It's just mean. We don't need to be mean. These statements are false. Plaintiff Stasko is a tenure-track assistant professor of studio art at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. Plaintiff Voros is a professional artist who has participated in numerous exhibitions, sold numerous paintings, and whose work is held in museum collections. The above statements attack plaintiff's professional competence and livelihoods and constitute defamation per se. On the podcast, Matney also stated, they looked really, really pathetic. That is a sad life that they both have. I was able to look all three of them in the eye with the absolute best look of disgust and just venom. They would not look back. They would not look at me back. These people have tormented me for years. They have proven to be unstable. They are parasites. The foregoing statements by Matney include both false assertions and highly offensive personal attacks. Although some language may be framed as opinion, the totality of Matney's statements conveyed false factual assertions about plaintiff's character and mental stability, evidencing malice and intent to harm. Further, in a clear demonstration of malice and intent to harm, Matney also stated on the podcast, so again, I'm saying their name is on this podcast. I'm going to put it in the SEO of this podcast description so it comes up. This statement reflects defendants' intent to amplify defamatory statements and to ensure plaintiffs' names and the associated false allegations appear prominently in search results, thereby demonstrating actual malice and intent to inflict reputational harm. Ma'am, stop. On the podcast, defendants and their co-hosts boasted and broadcasted publicly. We could bury them in litigation for a really long time and make it a lot worse on them. I can drag them into legal battles too. These statements reveal a plan to use litigation and public harassment to injure plaintiffs' reputation and finances and constitute evidence to harm plaintiffs. The Luna Shark defendants were the publishing platform for these statements, making them jointly liable. In the podcast, Matney explicitly identified plaintiff's counsel and his law firm and instructed listeners, oh boy, here comes the playbook again, y'all. The playbook. Clients of Bill Padgett of the HHP law firm, and click the link to see their Facebook page in case anybody wants to drop a note, because I'm tired of these people. By inviting listeners to contact plaintiff's counsel and to drop a note, Matney intentionally encouraged harassment and intimidation of plaintiffs' legal representation, interfering with plaintiffs' access to counsel, and demonstrating malice. On a Luna Shark podcast description page for the episode, it states, why are there no repercussions for lawyers who take objectively bad cases that seem to have only one purpose, to harass Mandy and Allison? Why is it okay for Mandy to be deposed when one of the plaintiffs in the bad case has plainly and publicly stated that she wants to ruin and destroy Mandy's credibility and life? Hey, Kimmy, little late, but catching up from the Low Country. Well, hello from the Low Country. Crazy town. What are we doing? Oh boy. Although defendants framed certain statements as questions, these were not genuine inquiries, but rhetorical devices used to convey false and defamatory assertions of fact. Yes, I agree with that. Just like Mandy says, I don't know. And then she goes with blah, 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 blah. I don't know. If any of you have listened to her, you know that's what she says. So this is the same thing. The whole, why is it okay? Why? You know what I'm getting at. Through these statements, defendants falsely implied that plaintiff's lawsuit was frivolous, unethical, and pursued for the purpose of harassment, and that plaintiff Stasko had publicly declared an intent to ruin and destroy another individual's credibility and life. Stasko has never made such statements. Such statements, though posed as questions, communicated to the ordinary listener clear, verifiable, and defamatory factual assertions, and therefore constitute actionable defamation by implication. Defendants knew these statements were false, as other judges have denied Donovan's motions. It is incongruous that the 2022 lawsuit is an objectively bad case if it is still proceeding to trial. Defendants have never once shared with their audience that the other motions by Donovan have been denied. Donovan's deposition or ever fairly described what plaintiffs have complained about in their first lawsuit. On the podcast, referencing the case still pending against Donovan, Matney states, that's the only case that has not been dismissed. Oh, hey, Kimmy. Kimmy became a new member. Welcome to the Chickadee Coop. In 6 months' time, you get to be a full-fledged chickadee. Right now, you're just a little chick. So happy to have you from the Low Country. On the podcast, this is false. Stasko has a pending defamation lawsuit against the Carolina News and Reporter and the University of South Carolina, and has survived a motion on summary judgment. This further demonstrates defendants' reckless disregard for the truth. As a direct and proximate result of defendants' statements and conduct, plaintiffs have suffered reputational harm, lost professional opportunities, severe emotional distress, embarrassment, humiliation, anxiety, and other damages. Yeah, I would be all of those things. Yep, sure would. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Just go live your life and leave me alone. Defendants published false statements and acted with actual malice. Matney's explicit statements about placing plaintiffs' names into podcast SEO, her public encouragement of listeners to contact and harass plaintiffs' counsel, and her statements about using litigation to bury, air quotes, plaintiffs demonstrate the defendants purposefully sought to amplify and perpetuate the false statements for the purpose of inflicting injury. Defendants' conduct was reckless, knowing and or with conscious disregard for the truth of their statements. Plaintiffs demand judgment against defendants for all of that stuff. Now, let me slide down here and see if there is anything else factually. This is just the complaint, everybody. So in fairness to Mandy Matney, this is just an allegation, so to speak. Extreme and outrageous conduct, threats of it. Yeah, it's repeating some of what we've already seen. So let's see what the last page has. Not a whole lot. Okay. Well, here's my concern for Ms. Matney is if you behave in a way that it appears you're trying to avoid appearing for a deposition, that's a problem. Or as she would say, that's a big deal. Told y'all I listened to her. Matney Zoom hearing. Let me see. I'm going to try to let me see if I can get this to work. Bear with me. I'm trying to find it. I'm going to need some help. I don't want to say Murphy, I think you sent this to me, the link for the Zoom meeting, but I'm trying to find it. I don't see a link to the actual hearing. I'm looking. I'm going to keep looking. Oh, I think I found it. Okay, bear with me while I get this set up. And I got to get plugged in myself. Okay. I wasn't prepared for the hearing is regarding no, the hearing is regarding her bouncing on the deposition for Parker's, the Mallory Beach parents suing Parker's, the convenience store. Yes, not the defamation. I gotcha. All right, let me share this instead. Let's see what we've got as far as volume and such. One moment. All right.
Ms. Matney, is that a subpoena that you received in this case?
Yes.
And you filed a motion to quash this subpoena, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And Exhibit 2, I'll show you. I'm going to approach the witness if the court allows to present these different exhibits.
Thank you.
Ms. Matney, is it the motion to quash that your lawyers filed on your behalf?
Yes.
And in support of that motion, you also submitted an affidavit. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'll show you that we've marked that as the court's defendant's exhibit number 3.
I agree. This lawyer is Well, she's fine too.
Is that the affidavit that you signed in this
What
case?
a very good looking woman.
Yes.
And you executed that affidavit on November 25th of 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And in paragraph 11 of that affidavit, you detail the grounds upon which you moved to quash the deposition subpoena. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Paragraph 11, you said that number one, you were not available on the requested date. Number two, it would require that you divulge into information protected by the reporter's shield privilege. And number three, the subpoena imposed an undue financial burden on you and your husband. Do you recall that? You said that any time that you devote to preparing for and attending a deposition will take away from the income generating time that you and your husband spend operating Luna Shark, and this would financially affect your household income. Remember that?
Yes.
And you signed that affidavit again on November 25th of 2025,
Yes.
right? And would you agree with me that nowhere in this affidavit do you cite a security concern or a personal safety issue as a basis for your motion to quash the deposition subpoena?
The safety concerns have changed since this was signed and have increased dramatically, especially in the last few weeks.
You don't get to change the story now. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this deposition is 2 hours long. I don't know if I can do a 2-hour deposition. I was trying to speed it up, but it's hard to hear because the vocal fry, y'all. It's like you got to speak with some oomph behind it. You can't be laying on it like this and then it like, come on now. Come on now. And I know she doesn't like people to say anything about it, but the truth of the matter is, if you're going to speak on a podcast, you need to get it together.
That would explain. Well, safety was not a concern primarily until I had a harasser online to be connected to you and your side increasingly scare me and harass me online to the point where I have a security guard here today. I had to hire security.
Do you cite a security concern or a personal
I'm
safety
sorry.
issue
I was trying to
as a
move
basis
the
for your motion
closed
to quash
caption.
the deposition subpoena?
The safety concerns have changed since this was signed and have increased dramatically, especially in the last few weeks.
I'm trying to move this, y'all. I can't.
That would explain. Well, safety was not a concern primarily until I had a harasser online to be connected to you and your side increasingly scare me and harass me online to the point where I have a security guard here today. I had to hire a security guard to come here to this court to stand in front of you. You are in a lawsuit that I have. So
This lady doesn't look
kind of
scary to
lost,
me.
and I'm very.
I take that back. This lady, I think, looks very scary to Mandy Matney because she's going to want her to answer some very specific, definitive questions. And that, I'm sure, is scary. But as far as physical fear, come on.
Yes, I am scared constantly for my safety, and that had a lot to do with this case.
Okay.
And that has changed and increased dramatically since I signed this.
My question to you, Ms. Matney, and the answer is yes or no, and you've already explained your answer, but my question to you is, in this affidavit, which was executed on November 25th of 2025, do you cite your personal safety issue as a basis for moving to quash?
I apparently do not.
Okay. Now, the court denied your motion to quash, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's Defendant's Exhibit 4. Ms. Matney, you got a copy of this court order denying your motion to quash, correct?
Yes.
And you understood at the time you got it and you read it, that your motion to quash the deposition subpoena was denied, right?
Yeah.
You read it and you understood it, correct? And so you then filed through your attorneys a motion to reconsider that order, didn't you? And I'll put that in as defendant's exhibit 5. Did you ask the court, when you filed this in February 17th of 2026, you asked the court to reconsider that ruling and to allow you not to be deposed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you then
Look at the judge.
got a ruling on that issue.
He's like, huh?
We'll put that in as exhibit 6. Got a ruling on that issue on March, let's see, March 3rd, or March 16th. And your motion to reconsider was also denied, was it not? In this order, exhibit 6?
March 16, what do you think that?
She knows it was denied. What are you doing? Just answer the question.
The
Yes.
date on the side of it's.
It's March 13th. Electronically signed on the last page by Judge Kelly. Do you see that on exhibit 6?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so you understood when you read this that your motion to reconsider the motion to quash, the order denying your motion to quash was denied, right?
You don't have to raise your voice.
I'm not raising my voice. Did you understand this order?
What? Did you all just hear that? Oh my word. We are seeing a whole new side of Mandy Matney. Oh boy. We're backing that one up.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so you understood when you read this that your motion to reconsider the motion to quash, the order denying your motion to quash was denied, right?
You don't have to raise your voice.
I'm not raising my voice. Did you understand this order?
Yes.
Okay, and you knew that you were ruled against, correct?
Yes,
And you knew that meant that you had to sit for a deposition in this case, right?
I did.
And in fact, at the end of this order, it says Ms. Matney shall be deposed no later than 14 days from the entry of this order.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Okay. That part that I just replayed, when she thought this woman was raising her voice, that's Mandy Matney in a nutshell. I do not think these are legitimate attacks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She is perceiving things that are not there. This woman was not raising her voice. Mandy just didn't like what she was saying. There's a difference.
Did you understand that when you read it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, just so we're clear, you've never been confused about whether these motions you filed were denied, right?
No.
And at no point did the court excuse your appearance from your deposition, correct?
No.
And you don't contest that you didn't receive these orders, right?
No.
Okay. You understood those rulings meant that you still had to appear for your deposition, didn't you?
Yes.
And-
Without a location. Sorry, Mom. I did not say a location at agencies.
Okay. You didn't receive any stay or postponement from the court order, did you?
No.
Okay. And in fact, you knew that it had to be done within 14 days of March 13th, correct?
14 days.
Yeah. And your lawyer actually objected when we proposed a date of March 23rd, 2026. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And so in order to accommodate your schedule and your lawyer's schedule, a new subpoena was issued for March 27th at 9 a.m. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll put this in the record as Defendant's Exhibit 7. This is a subpoena for your attendance at your deposition on March 27th at 9 a.m. at the law office of Jones, Simpson, and Newton, PA, 7 Plantation Park Drive, Bluffton, South Carolina. Do you see that?
You
You received a copy of that, didn't you?
did.
And so you were fully aware that you were required to be at the location of the subpoena on March 27th, 2026 at 9 a.m., the location of 7 Plantation Park Drive in Bluffton, South Carolina. Isn't that right?
No,
You weren't aware that you had to be there?
no.
And why is that, Ms. Matney?
My attorneys filed an emergency order, and when we went in that morning, nothing was filed, and as far as all the attorneys were concerned. We also looked up a lot of case law and could not find a single case where a party such as yours was so adamant on the location. Usually parties in your case are able to deal with the safety concerns of the person being deposed, and therefore I offered a safe, again, out of my own pocket. I paid a security guard to come to a safe location.
You can afford it. You're a
That I-
millionaire. Shut
that
up.
I believe was safe and that we could do this in a safe way that did not make me feel completely uncomfortable and to make this less painful for me. And you guys would not come.
Ms. Matney, do you know what a subpoena is?
Yes.
Are you aware that a subpoena is a court order?
No.
Okay.
What?
How long have you been practicing law in this state?
0 years.
Okay. And so you're not
Exactly.
familiar
Don't
with the
talk
South
about
Carolina
case
Rules of
law.
Civil Procedure, are you?
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay.
Wow.
Did you have discussions with and receive counsel about what a subpoena is and what the requirements were for you to be at, on the date of the subpoena?
Your Honor, objection to the extent that she's asking for any conversations that Ms. Matney had with me or Ms. Bannon, those are protected by attorney-client privilege.
Your Honor, I would say if this witness is going to contend that she did not appear at this location on this date because her attorneys told her she didn't have to, then she would be using an advice of counsel defense. She would be waiving any attorney-client privilege that exists. And if she's
Uh-oh.
not going to do that, that's fine. But if she's going to try to say that her attorneys told her she didn't have to be there, then we'll have to go into the waiver issue.
Your Honor, we have set forth in our filings that are on the public record why we appeared where we did, when we did. And I think it's fine for Ms. Barbier to ask those questions, but specific conversations that Ms. Matney or Ms. Bannon had, that I had with Ms. Matney or Ms. Bannon had with Ms. Matney are not appropriate
She said
questions
it.
for examination of Ms. Matney because of attorney-client privilege.
I have no suspicion.
Okay. Ms. Matney, if you could look at Exhibit 7, please, and read place of deposition. Can you read what it says?
Oh, I'm gonna have
This is
to.
Jones, Simpson, and Newton, 7 Plantation Park Drive, Bluffton, South Carolina, 29910.
And what does the date and time say?
It says March 27th, March 27, 2026 at 9 a.m.
And who does this subpoena indicate that it's issued by? Does it indicate that it's issued by the circuit court in the county of Beaufort?
Yes.
And it says you are commanded to appear at the place, date, and time specified below to testify at the taking of a deposition in the above case. Do you see that? And you received this. You don't contest that, do you?
No.
Okay. And you understood it at the time you received it?
I understood that this was a very unique situation where one party does not feel safe to be deposed at the place where the other party is suggesting, and I
Damn.
understood that our emergency motion would put on the record that we needed to change this, and because nothing was done with the emergency motion that day, I did not understand that this still applied.
You did not understand what?
that the subpoena still applied at that place. And also the place that I suggested was down the street. And I did not understand why attorneys who wanted my deposition could not.
Oh boy. I am losing a tremendous amount of respect for Ms. Matney. You are not smart. That's what this is telling me. You are not smart. And I guess you think that stupidity is a defense, but stupidity is not. And your elitist attitude is making me feel like I need to go bathe. I am so glad you suggested this and sent me a link. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because this is unbelievable.
I'll show you,
Where I felt safe.
show you what we'll mark as Defendant's Exhibit 8. Did you also receive an amended notice of videotape deposition of Amanda Mandy Matney? Did you receive that?
I don't know.
Okay. Does that appear to also be a notice of where your deposition is supposed to take place?
Again, I don't know.
Okay.
Stop
Ms.
it.
Matney, were you aware of any order that granted your emergency motion on the day that you filed that?
No.
So you knew that that motion had not been granted, correct?
Again, I thought that these would be mature enough to be able to meet in a location where I felt safe. So I thought making myself available and taking on work for an entire day, as we talked about. The amount of burden that this case that I'm not a party of has brought on my life. I thought that your party would travel half a mile down the road if you wanted the truth out of me, and if you wanted me to answer questions. I did not understand why you wanted me to feel unsafe in a different location.
So Ms.
Oh
Matney,
my
is it your
gosh.
testimony that you didn't believe that the rules of this court and the rules in this state
Yes.
of civil procedure don't apply to you?
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Objection to the extent that Ms. Barbier is asking Ms. Matney to make any legal conclusions. Ms. Matney is not a lawyer. She's already testified to that.
That's
Do you
not
think
what the
rules apply
question
to you,
was.
Ms. Matney?
Yes, it is a multiply. I was confused by the situation. because
That's why you have an attorney.
So let's make sure
I
we
haven't
understand that
seen
too.
this
You weren't
Serenity.
hospitalized on March 27th of 2026, were you?
No.
Okay, and you were not physically unable to travel to this location on March 27th, 2026, were you?
Was your party physically unable to? No. I was
Oh.
not physically unable, but I felt physically unsafe to travel to where your.
Oh, that
attorney
judge is
wanted
having
me to
it.
travel.
And we're going to talk about your fear in just a moment, Ms. Matney. But first I need to make sure that,
Counsel's commentary.
Overruled, go ahead.
Ms. Matney, you had access to transportation on March 27th of 2026, correct? Okay. And you
love
were
you,
using
Judge
your phone and
Kelly.
social media on that day, correct?
Later in the day.
So I'm going to show you now
Oh
what we will put
boy.
in
Overruled.
the record as exhibits 9, 10,
Oh, we like you, Judge Kelly.
11. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I've got my copies right.
It is
12.
Mandy, and she's acting like it's a big joke. Yeah.
13,
Oh my. I'm gonna try to zippity doo das. I don't know if I can.
and 14. As before your deposition and after, isn't that right?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I'm going to show you what we put in
She's already standing
The
to
record.
object.
and ask you to identify these, please.
Oh, she sat down. Yeah. Tell us all about all of your fear on social media, telling everybody where you're going to be. I'm just zippity doo done until we can get to
They were-
actual testimony.
Your Honor, I would like an opportunity to review these before Ms. Matney gets questioned about them. They were not provided to me in advance.
Okay, we're fine.
I'm going to zippity doo dahs.
I don't have any problem taking a break. These are her clients' social media postings about her deposition. I would think she'd already reviewed them.
And you can step down, you can't talk to anyone about your case, okay, so if you want to take a break, you can step down, we'll take a break, let's be seated right over there where the plate will film.
Woo!
No, ma'am. Have a seat over there. Okay, so if you want to take a break, you can step down, we'll take a break, let's be seated right over there where the plate will film. No, ma'am. Have a seat over there.
Oh, he is not having this.
Wait a minute.
Just 5.
5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes.
All right, I'm going to see if I can find where we actually come back. Where are we? 19, so 5 minutes.
Wants to ask those questions, she can ask them.
Oh, this ought to be good. Oh, there's lots of words.
Were grouped together, or why they were grouped in the way that they were. Also, many of them contain comments from people who are not Ms. Matney, which would be out-of-court statements offered for their truth, I assume. So they would be hearsay statements. One of these is apparently screenshotted from a Delta flight, and we don't know when that occurred, and are not sure of the provenance of that. And I mean, there appear to be screenshots from different social media platforms stapled together within the same exhibit. And we just are candidly not quite sure how these got grouped together the way that they are. So far, we've not heard any foundation for them. Ms. Barbier may try to lay foundation, but we do have a hearsay objection, and we also have a relevance objection.
Relevance
that Ms. Matney made post her deposition start time.
Ma'am, your problem is that Ms. Matney can't shut up. That's your problem. And so she's on the socials, keyboard warrior. And then she goes on her podcast and she's like, that's the problem. What?
March 27th at 9 a.m. Because that would not be relevant to what it is that Ms. Barbier is trying to prove with respect to a show cause order.
Your Honor, they are all directly relevant for a number of reasons, but particularly on the day of the deposition, Ms. Matney flaunted her contempt for this court and her mockery of our judicial system by saying that she had a security concern that she couldn't show up with her deposition for, but then going to an outdoor restaurant to eat and drink her way through Savannah, as she claims, with her lawyers, in open air, open streets, taking selfies and smiling and laughing and drinking about how she didn't show up for her deposition that day. So it's absolutely relevant to her contempt for this court, her mockery of the rules here, and her belief that they don't apply to her. Before the deposition, the post that took place, they show knowledge and notice that she knew that you had ruled against her. She's complaining about our judicial system. She's complaining about your rulings. She's complaining about the evil in our court system and her contempt for it. And those are directly relevant to her knowledge of whether or not she knew she had to be in attendance for her deposition, and which is the intent we have to show to find her in contempt.
Your Honor, Ms. Barbier is free to ask questions of Ms. Matney, and we're free to ask our follow-up questions of Ms. Matney, but these exhibits quite frankly, just make no sense. It is a mishmash of social media that I'm not sure.
Oh,
where they
I'm
printed
sure
it
it's
from or
very
how they
easy to
decided
figure out.
to staple these particular things together. But it just doesn't make any sense. And if she wants to ask those questions, she can ask them. And I think as Ms. Matney has shown in her affidavit, and as we argued in our motion, Ms. Matney can explain how she keeps herself safe and is able to live her life in public without having to stay sheltered at home at all times. And Ms. Barbier can ask those
You don't get to pick and
questions,
choose when
but
it's
these
safe.
exhibits, which, you know, have not, there's no foundation for them. I candidly have no idea why these are stapled together. So I would ask that Ms. Barbier be made to ask Ms. Mandy the questions instead of admitting these exhibits.
We'll find that they are relevant, and the court does not have a jury over here, and the court can disregard hearsay.
Ms. Matney, have you had a chance to review the social media posts that
Hallelujah,
I've
Judge Kelly.
placed into court record?
Yes,
Okay, are those your social media posts?
yes,
Okay, and you are the author of those posts, correct? Okay, and you posted these pictures of yourself and others enjoying and celebrating not attending your deposition, correct?
that is not what I was celebrating. I was celebrating breathing for the first time in a really long time
Oh,
because I
stop
have
it.
undergone so much stress throughout this entire deposition.
stop your
that I was silly
podcast.
enough to think that I thought that the court was going to decide with me on Friday. And I thought that all of this madness would be over. And I thought that this was the end. I was celebrating what I thought would be the end because I thought in my mind that common sense was on my side. And
Look at this
what I
attorney.
do on social
Uh-huh.
media, I am confused by what has relevance to do with what we're trying to talk about, which is this case involving the Beach family.
You understand,
So have to say that I am a journalist and
Oh, we
I
know.
am an influencer on social media and
Oh,
I
we
do
know.
make income on social media. And this case has took up so much of my time that I have been forced to have to write about this over and over on social media because I don't have enough time to get the cases that I want to get to because I have spent so much time fighting this deposition.
All
And
you have
your-
to do is just
your
stop.
testimony today is that you have been forced to post on social media about your deposition so that you can make money?
Objection, that mischaracterizes your testimony.
Yeah, that's not.
You filed an affidavit actually today with this court indicating that social media was your primary source of income, correct?
It's not.
Objection, that's not the
Yeah,
affidavit.
can we just stick to the affidavit and ask what is on the affidavit? Yeah, it's very clear.
I don't
Oh,
have 3 copies of this because it was just filed. I just
Ma'am.
received a copy.
this
but I'll
is
place
not your
this as-
courtroom.
Defendant's Exhibit 16.
Need some copies.
Got it, sticker.
For all
Thank you.
of the complaining that Mandy Matney did about
Your Honor, I'm
Alex
also
Murdaugh
happy to
being
read
above
from her
the law.
affidavit what she said about social media.
Wow.
Your Honor,
I guess it takes one to know
respectfully
one.
going to ask the witness, not Ms. Lindell. Ms. Matney, is Exhibit 16 your affidavit that you submitted today?
Yes.
Okay, could you turn to paragraph 30, please?
This is fascinating, y'all. I had no
And it's an important
idea.
part of intelligence.
Can you read paragraph 30 to this court, please?
Social media is an important part of the success of my media company, which is the primary source of my income. My primary source of my income is my media company and this.
And you promote that through
Yes.
social media, correct?
It's Mandy Matney.
Okay. Yes. Can you turn to the exhibit that is the first page of which is a picture of you and Mr. Tinsley, and then you and your attorneys,
Uh-oh.
and there's a pound cake, and then a picture of you having a drink.
Yes.
Now, Ms. Matney, that picture was taken on March 27th of 2026, correct? Those pictures were taken.
believe so.
And that was during the time period that you were supposed to be deposed, correct?
It was after the time period that we had waited for your attorneys to come to our place where I felt safe so that you could depose me. We waited till noon. These pictures were taken well past noon. And again, I'm not sure what went wrong.
You understand your deposition was supposed to last all day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was those pictures were taken.
No, because you guys didn't tell me anything about what I was supposed to expect from my deposition.
Do you agree with me that these pictures were taken on March 27th?
It's
of
a
2026,
deposition.
correct?
Yes.
And you indicated at the end of this post, you said, Parker's attorneys balked at my safety concerns that they contributed to escalating and never deposed me. So we ate at my mama's lemon pound cake and made the most of it. And then my team of amazing attorneys, R.K. Lindell and not in New York City, went to Savannah to celebrate and stand our ground for my safety. Stay pesky. Did you write that?
Yes, because I was silly enough to believe that we had won at that point, and that because your side would not come down the street to depose me, where I was ready, willing, and able to be deposed as long as you wanted to, in a place where I felt safe. And again, but not any case law I'm referring to, silly me, I thought that I was celebrating and it was over, but of course it was not.
So Ms. Matney, could you turn to the 5th page of that exhibit, please?
Why do we have so much shade for the pound cake? How has this happened? Why is pound cake coming into so many trials and hearings and everything else? Leave the pound cake alone. It didn't do anything.
I don't know if there's no page numbers on this.
There's not a page number, but it's the 5th page. So if you count to 5.
More. Can you tell me what?
It's a picture, I believe, of you and your husband and your lawyers standing on the street taking a selfie. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that you and your lawyers in Savannah?
Yes, it is.
And is that after, before you went to eat and drink caviar?
I don't know. And, I didn't know.
That picture was taken on March 27th of 2026, correct?
Wow.
Okay. And you don't have any security around you in that open air setting, do you?
Actually, my husband is my security guard, and that bag that he's carrying is a gun because all of the safety concerns we had the past 4 years. So my husband is almost up, he's got armed.
So, Ms. Matney, I want to make sure.
I'm almost always armed too. So what? Stop. This is really bad. See, I will tell you, this is some of the flavor I was picking up when I would listen to her podcast. That's why when Murdaugh was over, I didn't go back to listening. I only listened because I thought she had the best information. Once I found Matt Harris and Seton Tucker, Impact of Influence, I was good.
That we understand, you have made a claim that you had security at the deposition location that you went to, right?
Yes, because your site was aware of that, because the harasser.
Ms. Matney, yes or no? Did you make a claim that you had a security guard with you?
Yes, and I did.
Okay. And was that your husband or someone else?
Somebody else.
Okay. And what's the name of that security company? What was the name of the security guard?
Becky.
Do you have any invoices or receipts from paying him to be there?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. But you haven't provided that to this court or to the Parker defendants, have you?
I don't.
Okay. And you didn't, in any of the filings that you made, list any specific safety concerns that were present at the Jones Newton law firm, did you?
Objection, that mischaracterizes the updated testimony.
Did you list one specific safety concern that you had about the Jones Newton law firm? Yes or no?
What was the number?
Did you list
Oh
one
my-
specific safety concern?
Supervisor.
Sidebar. Side note, let me zippity doo dah us.
Are we going to speak to you again first?
Zippity doo dah.
Did Jones do-
Zippity.
Ms. Matney, did you list one specific or any specific safety concerns that you had about that were present at the Jones Newton Law Firm that compromised your security on March 27th, 2026?
I listed safety concerns as stalkers who could have been aware of the location.
Now, Ms. Matney, my question is, did you list anything specific about that particular location that presented a safety concern for you?
I don't know,
And did you, do you acknowledge that the security person that you say that you hired, he could have very well come with you to 7 Plantation Park, couldn't he have?
I was aware, and I can tell you security concerns, but I know that my state representative is in that office, and I also know that there's a the bathroom is not private, and it's not a secure premise, and the way that the law group is.
She wanted
We
private.
have a actual safety.
Well, that
plan
blew up.
that Entry and exit, and knowledge of all of those things, and again, I'm not a party to this lawsuit, I felt like I have the right to feel safe. And an office was very, very close to the one that you.
Do you hear the vocal fry? Like, talk. It's such a lazy way to speak. It pisses me off. I'm sorry.
Wanted to go to, and again, I did not understand why you guys couldn't just leave that office.
Ms. Matney, you mentioned that Weston Newton is a state representative, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
And you cover our legislator and stories emanating from that, correct? Okay, so are you aware that SLED provides security for state representatives?
No.
Okay, so his location would have been even more secure than the
Yeah.
location that you chose at Miss Bannon's firm, isn't that right?
Objection, Alex Foundation.
No. I don't trust that.
Why don't you trust that?
Again, the things that I've gone through in the last few years, I have a very hyper sensitivity when it comes to any sort of trust.
Ms. Matney, isn't it a fact that you can't articulate one specific safety concern that existed at 7 Plantation Park Drive in Bluffton, South Carolina on March 26th, March 17th, 27th of 2026, can you?
Objection, Your Honor. She submitted multiple affidavits about this, and at this point, I think we're badgering her a little bit.
That's not for a little. Move on.
Yes.
You can't name one specific safety concern that existed at that location, can you?
Again, can you refer to my affidavit of all the safety concerns?
I am referring to your affidavit. There is no specific safety concern with that location. So beyond your affidavit, do you have any specific safety concern about that location?
I was scared of going there because I don't trust a lot of people.
Can I also ask Ms. Barbier to not interrupt the witness, please?
Okay.
Miss Matney,
The judge is so
you-
over her.
filed after your deposition a motion for a protective order. You recall that? That's in the public index, correct? Did you review that before it was filed? Okay. And you are aware that both in your motion to quash and in your motion to reconsider, you sought a protective order of sorts from this court and it was denied, right? Okay. And then your emergency motion that you filed less than 48 hours before the deposition, that wasn't granted either, was it?
There was no ruling on it.
But now you do know that it's been denied, correct?
After Friday, I mean, I didn't know until Monday.
And are you aware that when a motion hasn't been ruled upon, that doesn't stay your obligation to comply with
No.
court order. Are
You gotta
aware of that?
go.
I did not.
Objection to the extent that Ms. Barbier is asking the witness to give legal conclusion.
Oh, come on.
Question
She
was-
covers legal
But you
stuff.
know, Basically, has to anyway.
It wasn't.
Okay. But you were aware that your motion hadn't been granted, correct?
Yes, I just, there was a statement, there was no conclusion.
And is there any dispute by you that you did not attend the location of 7 Plantation Park, Bluffton Drive on March 27th of 2026? Is there any dispute by you by that?
They did not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. This is Defendant's Exhibit 15.
Judge is writing a lot of stuff down.
Recorder they have not given it to us. I requested it several times and have no response, so we have not had an opportunity to review it. So I object to this being admitted.
Your Honor, it's a record of her non-appearance. I don't know that that is seriously in dispute by Ms. Lindell, so I'm not sure why she objects to
We
it.
will stipulate that Ms. Matney and Ms. Bannon and I were not at the location, the notice location, and that we were at a different location. We will stipulate that.
You stipulate.
Right. And Ms. Matney, going back to your social media posts, you maintain active social media accounts, correct?
Yeah.
How many do you maintain?
Oh,
Like
boy.
for me personally or my company,
Both.
not sure many. But as far as me, the ones that I control, my Facebook and my Instagram, and I have a TikTok. Threads account.
And you agree that on March 27th of 2026, you posted content online, correct?
Yeah.
We just went through the pictures you posted in your celebration, right?
Again, my celebration, but I was mistaken, obviously.
And you told your followers, how many
Another
followers do
common
you have on
theme.
your account?
Instagram, 73,000. Facebook, 55,000.
She's not on the
YouTube,
Twix.
Like this. And then I have. That comes with me. So.
How many views do you typically get on YouTube?
I know I have around 100,000 followers. on YouTube.
Oh, shut up. You do too,
And haven't
though.
some of your posts received millions of views?
Well, 5,000.
Okay. Have your podcasts received millions of views?
Some.
Okay. And you told all your viewers and your followers that you chose not to attend your deposition at the location of the deposition subpoena. Didn't you do that?
Again, I was very
Yes or no?
confused on what was happening and believed that because we filed this emergency order and because I talked to a lot of lawyers about this, and every lawyer that I talked to.
No, you
said
talked to Eric
that if they were in
Bland.
your shoes, they would have come to me.
Maybe Mark
So
Tinsley.
this is just a very weird situation.
What lawyers are you referencing that you spoke to?
I would ask that to the extent that Ms. Matney got any legal advice from anyone, my lawyer, that is.
She's the
advice.
one
Which one?
saying all this.
She
She has freaking diarrhea of the mouth. She could have just answered the question, but oh, no. This is Mandy Matney's world that we all get to live in. And so she's going to talk all about all the attorneys that she talked to. I'll guarantee you Eric Bland is going to be one of them. I'll guarantee you that Mark Tinsley is going to be another that she says. She's the one bringing it up, Ms. Attorney.
validated you. She said.
I'm not aware.
Excuse me?
I'm not aware.
You're unaware of who you spoke to?
Yeah.
You just said you spoke to a lot of lawyers who told you that they would have done just what you did. Who are you talking about?
I'm really trying to think, and I know that I spoke to lawyers.
Not good at this.
So
You don't know who you spoke to?
I know who she talked to.
again, was under apparently misunderstanding that I thought the depositions were more of a.
Answer the question.
thing. And I was trying my best to do this deposition in a way that I felt safe.
Okay. You expressed to all these followers that you have, Ms. Matney, your defiance and your refusal, and you said you were standing your ground in not attending this deposition.
It's
Didn't you
coming
say
up,
that?
Kristen.
I felt unsafe at the location.
We got about a minute.
You
and then
told
we'll
these
see her.
followers of yours, though, that you were standing your ground and you weren't going to appear, right?
That's what she said.
I didn't say it before.
You glorified your contempt for this court and your refusal to comply with court orders, didn't you?
Objection, Your Honor. There's a lot baked into that question that is not admissible. She has not been found in contempt. Glorified is a harassing term.
Not
And
yet.
if Ms. Barbier wants to ask her a specific question about specific social media posts that she made or specific podcasts that she recorded, I think that's appropriate, but that question is, in my view, over the line.
Would you rephrase, please?
Sure. Miss Matney, if you will turn to the post that you made, and the first page of it is where you say, "I am not the journalist" in the Murdaugh case. You see that exhibit?
Again, there's like a giant stack that you gave me and it's phone numbers.
Here we go.
The front page of it says, "I am not the journalist in the Murdaugh case." You see that? Well, let me ask you this. Do you recall posting to all your followers, "I hate," in all caps, "our legal system"?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. And you were described, you being subpoenaed for a deposition as being punished by the South Carolina judicial system? Do you remember that?
Yes,
And you said you will never stop working to expose the evil in our system. Isn't that right?
yes,
And you have, in fact, described this court and attorneys working on this case for the Parker defendants as corrupt, haven't you?
Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning. We are going outside of what the court should be looking at with respect to whether Ms. Matney, whether there's an order to show cause that's appropriate to be issued or whether she should be
I don't
held in
think it's
contempt. Ms.
irrelevant.
Matney, as a journalist and as an American who has free speech, is allowed to have opinions about the legal system. She's allowed.
She's
to
not
have
allowed to
opinions about
flaunt
anyone
the
in
fact
this
that she
courtroom.
dipped
And
on
those
a
opinions
freaking depot.
are not sufficient to hold her in contempt. So there's no relevance
Yeah, they are.
of those opinions to this proceeding.
Counsel?
Your Honor, these opinions and the statements that she makes about this court system and this process and her record of not complying with court orders is highly relevant to whether or not she has acted in contempt of this court, whether or not she has consciously and intentionally disregarded court orders, and whether or not she's attempting to make a mockery of the system by not only criticizing Your Honor and this court and the attorneys who are officers of this court, but by encouraging her followers to do the same, which is detrimental to our system of justice. And so it's highly relevant for all those reasons.
It's relevant, what's going to allow, we're not here on contempt today. We're here making the record as to whether or not a real concealed cause should be. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yup.
Ms. Matney, also in your social media posts, you indicate that the court doesn't care about your safety. Do you recall that? Do you recall that? Okay. Do you recall describing the people involved in this case as dumb old men? Okay. Well, I'll ask you to look at your post that begins in a 73-page motion. Billionaire Greg Parker's attorneys argued against doing my deposition. And if you turn to page.
some of men is an inside joke to me, my followers. It's not-
What?
Well, which dumb old men were you referring to in this post?
Your Honor, I'm going to renew my objection. We are at this point we're agitating what is clearly some personal animus between Parker's Defendants Counsel and Ms. Matney, and that is not relevant to the order to show cause. Her affidavit clearly states that she was ready, willing, and able to give deposition testimony,
But she
regardless
didn't.
of how she feels about the attorneys or the parties in this case. And at this point, I think all that they're doing is highlighting the harassment of Ms. Matney and the purpose of taking her deposition to harass her.
Y'all, if I was getting harassed by someone, I would not be poking the bear by calling them dumb old men and crap like that. Are you kidding me? If I was truly afraid, now if I weren't afraid and I just kind of wanted to get my stuff out there, yeah, I'd say something. She's not afraid. This is all bovine scatology. Torquing me right off.
Your Honor, no one on behalf of the Parker's defendants has any animus towards Ms. Matney. The Parker's defendants are making a record of her contemptuous conduct. And if that is uncomfortable for Ms. Lindell or Ms. Matney, that is unfortunate. But they are the people that have made these public statements, and they are the people that have mocked this court. And we are simply making a record of it.
I love it.
Move along, though. I get the picture.
Okay.
I get the picture.
Now,
Oh, Judge
let's get
Kelly.
back to your security concerns, alleged security concerns, Ms. Matney. You would agree with me that you were in public the rest of the day on March 27th, 2026, correct? Without security.
It was my husband who was.
But you didn't have a security guard with you, did you?
You weren't paying a
did
security guard.
the day.
Objection, asked and answered. She's been asked this already.
Now, I'll move on. Ms. Matney, you claim that someone on the defendant's side has been providing information to Mr. Seidel. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you didn't identify a single specific person who you claim did that, did you?
No.
Okay, and you have no firsthand knowledge of any communication between any defendant or any defense attorney and Mr. Seidel, do you?
No.
You don't have an email, do you?
So,
And you don't have a text message, do you? And you've never heard yourself any firsthand communication of anybody communicating to who you say is your harasser and your stalker, Mr. Seidel.
it's
Okay, let me fill in the blanks for you all. The irony of this, I did not share with you, but we are watching this particular hearing from Crime and Cask Investigations. Guess who Crime and Cask Investigations is? Mr. Seidel. It's Mr. Seidel. That's who she has a problem with. And she has a problem with it because these are the people reporting in a way that she doesn't want them to report. Does this sound familiar to anyone? And possibly fallout from another case? The parallels. It's just uncanny.
sources.
Excuse me?
Sources have told me that there were communications, and I've also been able to figure out if there's communications based on a timeline that's in my affidavit, and if we could just stick to that, that would be great.
Okay.
I will.
Well,
object
who
to
are your
any
sources,
question.
Ms. Matney?
I'm going to object to that question under the report.
Yeah.
Ms. Matney should not be required to identify her sources for her journalism.
Your Honor, the reason that we're here is because she claims that there's a security issue that we have exacerbated by feeding information to somebody who's stalking and harassing her. And the fact of the matter is, that's completely meritless, has zero truth to it. And so she's the one who's made these claims, and we'd like to understand what the source of that information is.
Your Honor, Ms. Matney is a journalist. There is a
You don't get to
reporter's
hide
privilege
behind
available
that.
to her under South Carolina law that requires her not to be required to reveal her sources. So to the extent that she is going to be asked any questions about sources, they need to be in camera, if at all, but they should not be asked at all. Ms. Matney, I think, can give testimony.
Not
about
when you're
the
a party
timeline,
to a
which is what she was
lawsuit.
about to say before I stood up and interrupted, of circumstantial evidence. But any testimony about sources should be shielded by the reporter's privilege, and we would ask that it be not allowed to be talked about in this courtroom.
Your Honor, you can't have it both ways. If she says that her security is compromised because we're feeding information
Exactly.
to her stalker and her harasser, she can't
Mr.
then claim a
Seidel.
shield and a privilege from disclosing how she knows that
Give
or
me the shield and the sword.
what fact she bases that upon.
Your Honor, we,
I respectfully disagree with that. Title 19, if she's been asserting her privilege, I'm going to have a hearing in camera to either grant or deny her journalistic protection.
Okay. I'll move on from that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So
Tell me that's a Murdaugh in that picture right behind her left shoulder. Tell me.
Ms. Matney, your affidavit
Right here?
refers to a blogger by the name of Jim Seidel. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And are there any other named individuals that you assert are an active threat to your security?
Yes, I don't.
What?
Or are they part of the basis upon which you failed to show up for your deposition?
The main one is Jim Seidel.
Okay. And would you agree with me that prior to March 27th of 2026, you had never filed a police report against Mr. Seidel, had you?
No.
And you've not taken out a restraining order against him, have you?
No, but I'm currently in the process of,
But that's not something you did prior to your deposition, correct?
because his stalking escalated on the weekend of my doorstep.
Okay. Now, are you aware, you've made a number of assertions that the location and the time of your deposition was leaked by the Parker defendants. Do you recall that?
Yes,
Are you aware that your own lawyer filed documents disclosing the location of the deposition and the time of the deposition?
I believed that, because I saw those documents and I.
Yes or no?
At least all of the mentions that I saw, but so.
Ms. Matney, are you aware that going back to your first motion to quash, your own lawyer is the one who's disclosed the location and the time of your deposition? Are you aware of that?
No.
And you have accused the Parker defendants and the Parker defendants' attorneys of disclosing that to try to intentionally put you in harm's way. Isn't that right?
But again, I wasn't aware of that, and I am not really sure.
Well, you would agree with me that you have been accusing the Parker defendants and their attorneys of trying to put you in harm's way by leaking information to somebody who's harassing you, right?
It is spelled that way.
Right. And you're aware that when your lawyer files motions to quash, motions for protective orders, those are on the public index, right?
Yeah.
And those have exhibits. And one of those exhibits is the subpoena that required your attendance with the location and the time of the deposition.
She knows
Are you aware
this.
of that?
She researches this stuff.
Not that, okay, so the location that I was not asked for.
Correct.
Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning. I believe that Ms. Barbier is referring to the first issued subpoena, or maybe the second issued subpoena for the November or December dates. If she's not, then I'm happy to see it.
Ms. Lindell, I'm not respectfully, I'm not asking you to testify. Miss
I love
Matney,
this woman. She's my spirit
you have,
animal.
Been the only one in this courtroom that has been posting about your deposition and about the court's rulings and about the defense attorneys and about Mr. Parker. Isn't that right?
Yep.
In this courtroom.
Have you seen anybody from the Parker defendants or the Parker defendants attorneys responding to any of your posts or making any other posts about this
Or
deposition?
reposting it
No.
or sharing it.
You're the one that's been publicizing it, correct?
Uh-huh.
I've never publicized and I, again, because I've been so paranoid about safety in the last few years, I don't know if you've ever understood this, but before, I always post significantly after I'm at a location. I never post that I am going to be in a specific location anywhere because of the amount of stalking and harassment that I have.
Oh, stop it, Mandy. Come on.
Your Honor, I'd like to move exhibits 1 through 16 into evidence.
There is a whole swath of the
objection.
United States that doesn't even know your name.
We'll renew our objection to the social media stapled exhibits for lack of foundation. Anything that's been filed with the court, we have no objection to.
Okay, over.
Now, Ms. Matney, just so we have a clear record, you were ordered to appear for your deposition on March 27th, 2026 pursuant to the subpoena that's in evidence, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and you challenged that subpoena for your deposition twice, is that right?
yes,
And the court denied both those requests, correct?
Your Honor, asked and answered. She's been asked this question at least 5
Your Honor, I'm just wrapping up. Just want to make sure we have a clear record.
Wrap it up.
Okay, you knew you had to appear for the deposition at the time, date, and place listed on the subpoena, correct?
nonetheless, again, I have confusion about that and motion.
Well, your social media posts are inconsistent with you being confused. Would you agree with that?
I was-
Because you tell your followers that you were
I
defiant
saw that
and not going to show up at that location, correct?
not with the judge's order. If there was a judge's order on that day, I would have showed up, but there wasn't.
There was a
And
judge's
I
order.
was confused about, I knew that there had to be a deposition within 14 days and I didn't.
You knew that the subpoena said that, correct? Okay. And you've covered the court system for years and you know what a subpoena is, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you had the ability to appear that day, didn't you? And you made an intentional choice not to appear at 7 Plantation Park, Bluffton, South Carolina on March 27th, 2026. Isn't that right?
Objection to the extent that she's being asked to give a legal conclusion with respect to the meaning of intent in the contempt setting.
Do you make an intentional choice, Ms. Matney?
I don't know what you.
Did you decide not to come to 7 Plantation Park on March 27th, 2026? Did you decide that?
I believe that the Parker's team would come to me because I thought that they wanted my testimony and I had nothing to do with this lawsuit. And I was offering my deposition at a place where I thought they.
Did you decide, Ms. Matney, not to come to 7 Plantation Park, Bluffton, South Carolina?
Objection asked and answered. We're
She
harassing
hasn't
Ms. Matney.
answered.
Yes or no?
That's about it.
Did you make that decision?
Do not go there?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
you.
was that so hard?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
insufferable. And not
Thank you.
in the way that I would.
Can I beg the court's indulgence and ask if I could plug in my laptop, if that would be okay? Do you have a plug back there?
Okay. I agree, Murphy. This is worth the watch time. I'm going to see if I can zippity doo dah.
Roll room. It was really scary. We talked about inactivated and we've lived on too. It's an defining moment in my life because we were told by many people that do not trust police there, and we were so scared. We called our police officer friend in Beaufort County, and he stayed on the line with us until we got to Beaufort County. And he was scared for our lives.
And how did that make you feel?
Scared for their lives.
Yeah.
How did that affect your personal life and how you conducted your daily life?
I'm just hyper aware. I also think as women when you're in general, more always vigilant and always feel like we could be attacked by anyone.
Her female chauvinism drives me a little crazy too, I have to be
Unfortunately,
honest.
for November, it was really getting over all these things and then Mr. Benefit.
And does Did Miss Barbier, do you recall Miss Barbier asking you some questions about social media accounts that you have?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean when I use the phrase DMs?
Yes.
Can you explain to the court what that means?
It's a direct message.
Do you receive direct messages or DMs on your social media accounts? And how would you describe the tone and tenor of the DMs that you receive?
I would say 9 out of 10 are very nice. And people thanking me for my work and what I do to expose the truths about the justice system and to help victims. I get a lot of those, but every, I don't know, it's 10%, but there's very, very nasty, I hate you, horrible things. It made me stop. I didn't look at my Facebook messages for honestly over a year because, and I didn't write them because I was too disgusted to look at what people were saying to me.
Do you ever receive any emails from people
Serenity.
who consume your content either on social media or through your podcast?
You sweet, sweet person. Thank you so much for this massive, massive $19.99 super chat. You are awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
And can you describe the tone and tenor of those emails for the court?
Again, most are very nice. And then every once in a while there's a horrifying one. I had one a couple years ago that somebody said they hoped that I had been hurt and I have to call the cops and the cops would come. People have emailed me and said that I should get a bulletproof vest. The one time a couple years ago, and this was really sick. Somebody, I can't say it out loud. Can you ask me?
Yes, I can ask you about it. Can I lead her on this question, Your Honor?
Yes.
Did you have a sibling who passed away as a child?
Yeah.
And did somebody email you impersonating your sibling?
Yeah.
And do you believe that that was as a result of your journalism work? And did that affect your mental health negatively?
That's awful.
And do you recall being asked questions by Ms. Barbier about
Who would
your
use something that
journalism
despicable?
about
That's
the legal
gross.
system in South Carolina? And as a result of your journalism work
Still not
about
a
the
reason
legal
to not
system in
show
South
up for your
Carolina,
deposition.
have you ever had any attorneys in any cases make any comments about you?
Yes.
Can you tell the court about those? And you don't have to name the attorney, but can you just tell generally about those comments?
The attorney for our extreme substance remark about me in 2021. See it report as well. It's really gross. So
And how did that make you feel?
disgusted.
Do you, as a part of your employment at Luna Shark, your self-employment at Luna Shark, do you ever have to make public appearances?
Yes.
Do you have any security protocols that you employ at your public appearances?
We most of the time we don't do any appearances that we just reserve them for personally. So we only the location and name, but then people go and get.
I think that this is so horrible when she's speaking because she is not projecting enough, and so it's going in. The microphone is going in and out, trying to capture her because she's doing that I can't stand.
And as for security, it's always there by my side.
Have you ever had any circumstances?
Sorry. So it was just really just hired. The most recent one we had to hire sheriff's deputies in Charleston.
Have you ever had any occurrences of public appearances where people who were not wanted there attempted to attend?
Yeah.
Can you tell the court about that?
there was a stalker online. So just daily say horrific things about me on the internet. And again, on this during this point, I was just falling into this horrible depression. And I haven't checked Twitter for my job. I checked Twitter. This person and a group of people were saying horrible things about me and making me feel like I wanted to die. And also it made me feel scared because it made me feel like every time I would go outside, the whole room would hate me. And everybody wanted to die. That's what these people do.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, one of those women showed up to an event.
Have you ever been the subject of any
How
legal
would you
action as a
know?
result of people who were excluded from a event that you held?
Yes.
Can you explain to the court just in a high level?
Oh, you mean at
what
the
that was
university
about?
when you made people not able to come?
Yeah, I don't understand the relevance in any of this.
Your Honor, the relevance is to explain why she is legitimately concerned about security.
Right.
I'm gonna move, I'm moving through. It won't take that long.
Yes, question.
Sure. Have you ever been the subject of any legal action with
Yeah.
respect to anyone who's been excluded from a public appearance?
Yeah, my husband emailed University of South Carolina to harassers. And made very scary threats online, and again showed a weird obsession of me.
This is, I believe, all in her head.
He emailed the
I've heard
University of
about
South
this for a really
Carolina
long time.
that they should not
All the way
be
back to when
included
I would
to make sure
listen.
that they
I was
weren't
like, is it
allowed
really
at the
that
event.
scary in the low country?
Well, they made me feel
Where's my low
uncertain,
country person?
and
Tell me.
we're now being sued.
And do you recall, do you still have the exhibits in front of you that Ms. Barbier handed up to you?
Yeah.
Do you have one? And I apologize, mine didn't have numbers, so I might get the number wrong, but I think it was Exhibit 2. It's affidavit of non-party Amanda Matney,
Exactly,
electronically filed November 25th, 2025. Do you see that?
Is it like
It's, so it's an affidavit. And on the side, there's a ribbon that says November 25th, 2025.
Yeah.
I believe it was Exhibit 2, so it should have. Do you recall being asked some questions about whether that affidavit included anything related to your concerns about security?
Yes.
Can you look, please, at paragraphs 23 and 24 and summarize those for the court?
Oh, Lord, this is going to be another narration on her part. Oh, boy.
That's to your security.
Based.
And do you recall being asked questions about whether this Exhibit 2 included any statements by you about threats to your security?
Yes. And
Did Ms. Barbier ask you about paragraphs 23 or 24?
she did not. And I also want to say that this was a really horrible. And that's when something that just started a week before this. So then I apologize for not remembering. But
Do you recall being asked some questions about Ms. Barbier by about a online harasser of yours named James P. Seidel or Jim Seidel?
yes,
Can you explain to the court who Mr. Seidel is, to the best of your knowledge?
he is a felon. Who focuses as a journalist online and posts about me to a obsessive and disgusting degree. She came out of nowhere a couple of years ago. I had never heard of them.
Someone could have said that about her when it came to Murdaugh.
That he either posted his blog about this case or his TikToks that he is saying, oh, Mandy, and his TikToks, just a lot of this creepy, obsessive.
I'm gonna have to go check
When
it
you
out
say, oh,
now.
Mandy, are you referring to the Barry Manilow? Did you see any social media posts that Mr. Seidel made about your deposition specifically?
Yeah.
Can you explain to the court? Well, let me ask you a different, let me start with a different question.
Where's
Did
the
you include
evidence of it?
those in your affidavit in support of your motion for protective
Please
order
show
or
me.
motion for an emergency, your emergency motion to set the location?
Yes.
Can you explain at a high level to the court what those TikToks communicated?
The community that this man who I've never met and again came out of nowhere appeared to have a unhealthy obsession with me and what I'm doing. What
The irony does not escape me.
he posted several times about threatening to show up for my deposition and wanting to come to my deposition.
Did you view any TikToks that indicated that he knew where your deposition was taking place?
Yes.
And can you explain to the court what those were?
The welcome to Bluffton. He did a TikTok that said welcome to Bluffton. And the only thing that's related to this is my deposition.
Do you recall Ms. Barbier asking you some questions about me filing a deposition notice of you on the public record?
Yes.
Do you know whether that was the original deposition or the March deposition? Would that be reflected on the public record to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you recall being asked some questions from Ms. Barbier about whether you know the names of any of your other online stalkers?
Yes.
Do your online stalkers, other than Mr. Seidel, post in their own names, or do they post using what I'll use the phrase screen names because
Yes.
I'm a millennial. So do you know the specific identities of your online stalkers? Do you know what all of them look like? Do you know where all of them live?
And then that's again my fear for my safety and the directors.
On the day of your deposition, were you reviewing Mr. Seidel's online posts or were you reviewing Mr. Seidel's online posts?
Yes.
Can you explain to the court what those were about?
They indicated to me that he was getting updates from the deposition. Specifically, the one that he posted right after noon, which has been the time that we decided that the deposition, that the deadline was for either the last ones to come to them. And I had violated court order. I had a water bottle with a sticker that said he's afraid of little me, and he creepily posted a video with a small lyric on it, and
Can I stop you there and can you explain to the court what the meaning is of who's afraid of little old me and why that relates to you specifically?
sure it's the other side of it.
And do you ever speak online about liking Taylor Swift?
And that's another thing that makes me.
When you received, I'm sorry, can you talk a little quieter? It's just a little distracting. When you received the deposition notice, did you ever intend not to be deposed at all?
No.
Were you ready, willing, and able to be deposed on March 27th?
Yes.
If the court had ordered you to appear at the location that the Parker's defendants had noticed, would you have appeared there?
Yes.
What would you have done with respect to security before you appeared there? And again, high level, because I don't want you to reveal anything that might make you unsafe, but high level, what might you have done to make yourself feel more secure about that location?
Y'all, what has happened tonight? Murphy has done a super chat for $49.99 that says, great job. Thank you for all of your kindness from everybody in your chat. Way to go, chat. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. We have, I believe, the greatest chat on the tubes of you. We do not deal with shenanigans. You can have a different opinion. Murphy, thank you so much. Yeah, it's not scary here. Well, that's good, Kimmy. I'm glad it's not scary here for you. It shouldn't be. I have to pause for a moment. I need to give you a little mini rant. So sorry. But several months ago, there was a relatively well-known individual online that multiple times in the span of a week decided it was appropriate to talk about me. I have never met this person. I have never spoken to this person. I have never been on this person's channel or commented on the Twix or any of those things. And they saw fit to spread some incorrect information about me, about interactions that I may have had with other content creators. It was all bovine scatology. It was exceptionally unkind. It affected me. I was significantly and severely disappointed in this individual. And it told me a lot about them. And the way that I decided I wasn't going to deal with it anymore, I didn't follow anything. For all I know, this person is still talking about me. Don't know, don't care. What other people have to say about me when I'm not around is none of my business. That's what I did. And I'm not sure that old Mandy has the ability to do that. You need to just walk away. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And here's the funny thing is I was showing someone in my real life about this individual, and I'm like, you're never going to believe. Let me show you some of this person's content. And I literally hit the button on my cell phone and slid. And what do you know? The spot that it went to, and I had no idea. I have witnesses for this. The spot that it went to, they were talking about me. What are the odds of that? But literally, full blown, gonna have a conversation about me. I don't bother anybody online. I don't give a rip about anything. I just want to make sure that we have a fair judicial system and that we all have some entertainment. So it can be handled. You just ignore it. Just who cares? Oh, I can't tell you who. I can't tell you who. Ms. D doesn't roll like that. But it was a very disappointing experience for me. Very, very disappointing. So there is my rant on that. Let's back to our regular schedule programming.
Probably just make sure that the intranets that were secure and that we were in as, and also I would brought my security guard, but security guard, make sure that there's someone hiding somewhere.
And what was it about that location, if anything, that made you feel insecure about appearing there?
I think the first, again, if some of my issues and not been around, then I think my think that I'm appreciate, but I think that being more adamant that they were on me going to this location, the more scared I felt, and the more that it felt like a trap, honestly. And it just gave me a horrible feeling in my stomach, like something really wrong was going to happen. I'm saying that the defendants were going to do anything wrong.
Me
I'm just
too,
saying that
Melissa.
I felt
Me too.
a lot better, and I did not understand. I would not compromise the place where I felt safe, and I also never once heard from the defendants that they wanted me to feel safe, and that maybe it's.
Do you know anything about the physical space of the deposition location that the Parker's defendants included in their deposition notice?
Yeah,
Can you tell the court what you knew about it?
we just needed that. And it was pretty easy for people to, it was connected to other offices, so it was pretty easy for people to go in and out.
And why did that specifically concern you?
Because the stalking.
And have you reviewed the motion for, the motion to show cause and for contempt that the Parker's defendants have filed?
Yes.
And do you recall some allegations about your spouse being in the room during your deposition?
Yes.
Was your spouse in the room during the portion of your deposition that was recorded on the Zoom?
No.
Can you explain to the court why Mr. Moses was there and what he did during the roughly 90 minutes or so that we were at that location on the Zoom?
He was helping with IT.
And where did he go? You've already testified that he wasn't in the room. Where was he during the deposition? Do you know whether he could hear what was occurring on the Zoom?
I don't.
Do you recall whether he participated at all or spoke? Do you recall whether he disrupted the deposition?
No.
Do you recall who the people in the room were?
Mark Tinsley, Taylor Ross, John Nichols, self, and lawyers.
And you were shown some social media posts that were stapled together by the Parker's defendants. And I apologize, mine don't have exhibit numbers. But you were shown, for example, a photo that was taken in Savannah on March 27th. Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember whether that was what time of day that was taken?
It was taken out of time that I worked for not posting it until it got back.
And how long were we in Savannah that day? Do you recall? Do you recall, did you drop me off at the airport?
Yes,
Do you know whether that photo was taken before you dropped me off at the airport?
it was
Do you recall when my flight was?
6.
Or when you dropped me off, I guess.
4,003.
And did you remain at the deposition location until noon on March 27th?
Yes.
Object, Your Honor, to the characterization as the deposition location.
I'll rephrase. Did you remain at Ms. Bannon's office until noon on March 27th? And I think, sorry, we talked over each other, but I think your answer was yes.
Yes.
Do you recall whether Mr. Seidel posted anything after your deposition that indicated he was watching the
There
deposition?
wasn't a deposition. That's my understanding.
Again, they're in the affidavits.
Well, then what was
So
it,
is it,
honey?
just to cut to the chase, because we're now at 3:42, is everything in the affidavits that you filed and signed under oath true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
I don't believe a single
Is there
second of
anything
it.
additional about Mr. Seidel that you would like to tell the court that's not already contained in your affidavits?
No.
Have you filed any police reports related to Mr. Seidel?
Yes.
Can you explain to the court what you filed?
It's last Thursday. My
Last
husband-
Wednesday?
to be punished for us. And the other one thing was that the evidence that's in here, the amount of posting that he has done, and increasingly obsessive. And again, I work in that world where I see red flags, and I've seen. I was reading a story the other day about a podcaster who was murdered and who was in a parasocial relationship with her and was overly obsessive with her. So I'm just overly cautious and concerned when a man is obsessed to this degree and posts about me to this degree in a way that's very hostile. And that's why I'm going to be the sheriff's office.
Do you know whether there is a confidentiality order or protective order in this case? Have you ever been asked to sign a confidentiality order in this case?
No,
Have you ever been informed by the Parker's defendants that any documents were confidential?
no,
Do you know of any reason why you are not permitted to post on social media about this case or the deposition? Do you recall Ms. Barbier asking you some questions about social media being an important part of the success of your media company?
yes,
And do you recall Ms. Barbier asking if it was your primary source of income? Social
Yes.
media?
yeah.
Is social media the primary source of your
No.
income? Can you explain that to the court more?
It's not advertising through the podcast and resolution premium members. You pay a monthly due for journalism and exclusive access to our podcasts and things like that. That's a source of income. Social media, my husband jokes, like it's a couple of fun meals a month, or maybe a vacation, maybe and it would be a short vacation, but it's not a primary source. So, but it does help promote my business.
And I
Well, I
believe you're
don't know that
asking
I believe
questions
all
about the
that.
emergency motion that was filed to reset the location of your deposition. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
Do you know why that motion was filed without getting into any attorney-client privileged conversations?
But
Why, do you know why we filed a motion to reset the deposition location?
yes,
Can you explain that to the court?
because I wanted to feel safe and it's such an location. Again, because of what happened to Liz, we're going to experience with these same defendants in her deposition. I at least wanted to feel physically safe in my environment, and I thought that they would want me to feel safe too. And I that we
And do you know why, without getting into any attorney-client privileged conversations, do you know why we filed that
hope you have
motion
no
when we
idea.
filed it?
It was very well after the final, whatever it's called, don't know. It was only a few days before we filed the C order, but the post with Jim Sayal where I'm fixing, right? I think these last few days.
Yeah, I can't answer for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, you did enough of that when she was being
But I
questioned.
remember feeling increasingly worried for my safety, and again, just wanting, and I said this on social media, wanting to stand my ground for my safety. I feel like I've been very big advocate on women feeling safe and don't feel like the word should make somebody.
Did you notice how clear it was to hear her when she actually talks instead of does the lazy vocal fry crap that she does? That's what's going on. She is not actually speaking.
Feel unsafe, especially in a deposition in a case that they were not a party to. I was took off work with Red feeling able to testify. I was ready to tell the truth and still am. I didn't understand why they didn't want to agree to that. It just it made me feel like harassing me and making me miserable.
Did you intentionally violate a court order in this case?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain to the court why that is?
Again, motion, and then you got another motion on Friday. That was a placeholder of some sort. I don't remember what. I just thought that we were good. I thought that we were waiting for the judge's decision, and I thought that the judge's decision would be decided on a place where you both feel safe and everything would be fine. And that's what happened.
Did you willfully refuse to appear at a deposition on March 27th at 9 a.m.?
No.
Do you recall being shown by Ms. Barbier a transcript of the proceedings on March 27th, 2026? And I apologize, I don't have the exhibit number, but it looks like this.
Yeah.
And can you, if you have it in front of you, can you look at, so there's an index. I'm going to take you to right before that index.
Melissa says, and she has so many meltdowns anytime someone mentions her vocal fry. I agree, she does. Here's the problem that I have with that. She can do something about it. She doesn't have to talk like this, like she's got almost no energy to be able to speak. You can actually learn. People that perform on stage are taught how to use their diaphragm to support the sound when they sing and when they speak. It is actually a muscle that you can use, and you can tune in like any other muscle that you have. You can practice with it and build it. Because when she gets talking up here, when she has something to say, when she's talking about how bad the men are, you can hear her very, very clearly. And then she goes into, I'm pitiful and I don't know what I'm talking about. And that is just at the bottom of her register with absolutely nothing pushing the sound out. It's awful. It's like a lazy way to talk. Yes, they have voice coaches. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. And I'm glad I swayed you, Camper for Life. It's just.
And let me ask you this. Have you seen this
Laziness.
transcript before today?
No, and I know our has been asking for it every single day.
Do you? Yeah, do you? And I apologize, the pages are sticking together a little bit. Just give me 1 second.
Oh boy, we're going to have to zippity doo dah.
Percy,
No,
before today. The court, what you're aware about in that, with respect to that.
I am aware that Van and Sarah, she the Zoom. She was always a gay advocate at the media, and she would help me. She would message me on Twitter and help me identify people who were harassing me. She's really good at that.
That's
She
super cool,
was-
Murphy.
And she's really when I
Terrifying.
remember, she was subpoenaed in this case, and we did not understand why. And I know that during the deposition,
What are we talking about?
she was asked questions that were not relevant, like if she liked burgers, chicken, and that felt to me like
What?
there were people surrounding me being subpoenaed and deposed, and that this wasn't about getting the truth about this case. It was just
She is paranoid.
forcing
What has
people
happened to her?
support it, which are media in depositions.
Do you know whether Mr. Seidel has had any contact with Ms. Glass?
He is posted about it.
Can you explain to the court what he has posted about her?
He was there at the time we find out, and location that I believe she was near. And she
Should
said,
we be all scared for her safety too?
Sarah, and something, he said something to the effect of Sarah and others should be aware.
How did that make you feel?
Scared?
Do you recall whether that was before or after your deposition?
It was around the time when all this was increasing horribly. I don't remember.
Do you recall whether that was included in any affidavits that you had?
Yes.
So if it's included in an affidavit, would that be your written testimony for this court?
Yes.
All right. I don't have any more questions for you right now. Ms.
Thank
Hunt.
you.
Oh, hallelujah.
Just a few brief follow-up questions, Your Honor. I'll be brief.
Get her. Get her. Get her. Do it. What is this lady's
Ms.
name?
Matney, despite your alleged security concerns, your podcast posted the date and the time of this hearing today. Isn't that right? Excuse me?
I don't think.
Well, are you denying that the transcript of that podcast has in it the fact that you all are coming to Gaffney today, 237 miles away, according to you, from your town, and there was a lot of complaining about that, and that you talked all about, or your colleagues talked all about the fact that this hearing was taking place today in Gaffney? Do you deny that?
Well, you must have had a transcript this morning because I listened to it first thing in the morning. My husband literally changed the record and changed it from the afternoon because of that we didn't want that security. And I believe he didn't say, I don't know, it was a little bit more specific, not specific, it wasn't. But regardless, we made a redaction. Changed it because I was concerned.
Oh, you did it after the fact, but you agree that that your podcast announced the date and the time of this hearing.
It was for a couple hours and that's a mistake and we changed it a few hours. And also I feel less favorite at courthouse and I asked for your party to, I would love to be posted at courthouse because I did say you're here.
Okay. Now, you also posted a picture of yourself.
Oh, she keeps
Yeah,
doing
just a
that.
few days ago, you posted a picture of yourself in your bathing suit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's law.
And that, were you on the beach? Were you on the beach in your bathing suit?
Your Honor, objection. This
Did
is
she just say is
not
that against the
relevant in
law?
what we're saying.
Your Honor, if she has security concerns, the last thing a female with security concerns does is post a bathing suit shot of themselves for their stalker to see. So I'm curious as to whether she acknowledged that she did that.
This is beyond the pale, Your Honor. Women are allowed to be in public in a bathing suit.
If you are afraid,
That's not the
how
point.
many of you have seen me in my two-piece?
Did
That
you?
was in my backyard, if you really want to know.
Okay, but you posted a bathing
But
suit
you
shot.
posted it to thousands of people.
Reviewing bathing suit shot. You can look at it.
That's not the point.
But you posted a picture of yourself in your bathing suit, correct? Okay. And you indicated on examination from your attorney that you've been getting, people have been saying mean things about you for about 6 years now. Is that right? But you haven't provided this court or in any of your filings with one document that shows that anybody has threatened to kill you, right?
Did you want that in part of the beef case?
Now I'm asking you, have you received a specific death threat?
I could provide that.
Your
I
Honor,
want to look into the times of my worst time around it and all the most horrible emails I've ever gotten.
can I have
For
your-
users to know that I feel unsafe. I feel like that's, again, it feels like harassment. It feels very intentional. Like you want me to be miserable and you want me to go back to that time in my life where I feel so unsafe.
and
And if you want that, find it.
I would like to be heard on this, Your Honor. We have been very intentional to protect Ms. Matney's security. And posting specific threats that she's gotten, posting very specific security steps that she's taken to keep herself safe harms her security.
I didn't
If they
hear
really
her
want
say
to see
that.
those documents, we can find them. I don't see how they're at all relevant to this case.
You're the one that
But
brought. Oh,
that's,
we need to go through the history of everything she's ever been afraid of since she was 5. That's on you. You did that. What is happening? Hope Mandy Matney is who is testifying, and she is one of the, we'll call her, for a lot of you, the turtle boy of the Alex Murdaugh case. I don't know why she is objecting to this, because Mandy has said this multiple times. What are we doing?
If the court wants to be upset about those not being posted, that's on me, because I would advise my client, and I would advise any client not to post specific threats that they've gotten like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's just move on.
Okay, I'll move on. Ms. Matney, you indicated in your examination with with your attorney that Ms. Farrell was asked irrelevant questions during her
Oh.
deposition, according to you, right?
Oh.
And you indicated that she was asked about her finances, is that right? And that she was asked about her sources, is that right?
Yes.
And that she was asked about things that you felt were irrelevant, correct?
It's like her husband.
Okay. And so she encouraged you to fight the deposition for those reasons, right?
I wouldn't say she encouraged me. I would say that I am her friend and her colleague and her friend, and I know how much that deposition, I know what she went through, and she advised me to do anything that I could to protect my personal rights, to not
Oh.
to that, and possibly limit the questions, and that's what we've been asking.
That's what this is about. You don't want to answer
I
the
still,
questions.
To this day, do not really understand what you guys want from me.
Okay, but those are
Answer
the,
questions.
on that basis, and you've already testified to that, Ms. Matney. You said it in your testimony with, when your lawyer asked you that she encouraged you to fight the deposition because of all these questions she was asked that you didn't think were fair, right?
To clarify, I want to object to that question as being unclear. When you used a lot of she's, I think you were referring to Ms. Farrell as the second she.
She supported me in thinking that this was unfair and thinking that this was more about things than it was about your team trying to find truth. To your client.
Ms. Matney,
Janet, Janet is saying, I want to hear Matney's side. Not going to turn on her so easy. She exposed a lot of good old boys getting away with a lot and had some retribution because of it. I'm not denying that, but that does not then give you the privilege to act like you're above the law, to act like this is your world and we get to live in it. Those are two completely different things. This isn't so much about turning on her. She's made herself look like a horse's patootie in this particular hearing. This is not looking good for her. And it makes me question other things. And I know there's some footsie going on between her and Mark Tinsley, and I adored Mark Tinsley. Don't forget. But my issue is that Mark Tinsley appears to have sticky fingers in a lot of things. So it makes me concerned.
you also testified that you don't have a financial interest in this lawsuit. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you have indicated in your pleadings that you would oppose a gag order in this case and you want to be heard on that because this is part of your, that would affect your livelihood. Isn't that right?
Because you guys keep dragging me into how many days do I have to take work? And like, I can't do a podcast this week because I have to drive all the way here. And I am forced to cover this case because you guys keep dragging me into it.
You're forced to cover.
This line of questioning, Your Honor, I was asking Ms. Matney for a legal conclusion.
Okay. She does not have to not work because she has to go there. You are self-employed. You can do your podcast any day, anytime that you see fit. Now I'm getting pissed again.
And also mischaracterizing the statements in that motion or that opposition. What we were saying in that opposition is a gag order would prevent Ms. Matney from continuing to do her podcast. That doesn't mean that she will benefit financially from the outcome of this litigation. It's that it affects her livelihood.
Ms. Matney, would you agree that since November 30th of 2025, you have made 55 separate standalone posts about this case?
Oh.
I don't know, but
Does that sound about right? Would you agree that 21 of those posts had inflammatory comments about the Parker defendants?
Objection to vagueness.
Okay. Would you agree that 7 of your podcast episodes have been devoted to this case?
likely,
That's likely? And would you agree that 14 of those standalone posts come from the podcast episodes where you highlighted this case and your deposition drama, as you call it? Would you agree with that?
this is all we've had time to focus on. Again,
Would you also agree, Ms. Matney, that in the course of your posts, you have said that Mr. Parker, Greg Parker, is corrupt, that he's dishonest, that he's committed illegal conduct, that he's a buffoon, that he's morally bankrupt, that he's a loser, that he's a harasser, and that he plays dirty? Have you said all those things about Greg Parker?
Objection to relevance, although this makes my point that this is a personal animus against Ms. Matney and not about any relevant testimony that she can actually give in a deposition.
She's the one saying
This is
it.
in response, Your Honor. She testified when her lawyer asked her about whether she had made statements, published statements regarding the Parker defendants. And I want to follow up with that. Have you said those things about Greg Parker? And you've also said that his lawyers are corrupt and dishonest, haven't you? And you've said that to multiple people, haven't you? You've in fact defamed Mr. Parker and his attorneys, haven't you?
Objection to the extent that it calls for a legal conclusion.
Dishonest?
I don't know if it's saying it.
And could I be heard a little bit? more?
Ask her if she knows the definition.
You know what defamation is? Ms. Matney, you've been sued for it several times. Do you know what it is?
I do know what defamation is, but I know that the best defense against defamation is the truth, and I believe that everything that I said against Greg Parker is true, and that was the basis of the case and what he is accused of and doing to each man which is what we should be talking about.
And Your Honor, if I could be heard a little bit more on the objection and also make a motion to strike. The questions that I asked Ms. Matney were about the reporting that she did on the boat crash case. And I asked her who the defendants were. We didn't get into as much as Ms. Barbier is getting into about Greg Parker. So I think at this point, we're going beyond the scope of redirect or recross.
I really do want to limit it to redirect.
Okay. You also indicated that you have been victimized because someone posted your cell phone number. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it a fact, Ms. Matney, that you have actually posted people's cell phone numbers, people who disagreed or criticized your podcast? You encouraged people to harass that person?
Objection outside of the scope, Your Honor. We didn't talk about that on my directive, Ms. Matney.
Counsel?
Your Honor, they did. She said that part of the harassment of her and the victimization of her is that her cell phone number was posted, even though it's publicly available online, and that she's had to change her number and how much trauma that's caused her. So I was following up on that.
I got it.
So just a couple of more questions, Ms. Matney. You indicated that you have the post that Mr. Seidel posted with a sign that says "Welcome to Bluffton" was an indication that he planned to attend your deposition?
Yeah, because he, as we have stated in many documents, he threatened to come to my deposition in many different posts.
And that sign is what tells you that he was going to attend your deposition. Is that right?
Objection mischaracterizes testimony.
Is that the only evidence you have that he planned to attend your deposition? That he threatened to plan a deposition, and then he posted that he was like a sign, welcome to Bluffton, like in Bluffton. Yeah, that's how it felt. So would it be fair to say, Ms. Matney, that these conclusions that you have drawn from Mr. Seidel's postings are your interpretation of what they
Uh-oh.
mean and nothing more than that?
Uh-oh.
They are my interpretations, and I feel like I have the right to hear them and say to. But in reality, Ms. Matney, you actually manufactured this fear and this concern for your personal safety
Uh-oh.
because you didn't want to be deposed. You didn't want to be asked about your sources.
Liz
You didn't want to
Boulder,
be asked about
do
your
whatever you need to
finances,
do to
and
not
you didn't
do
want
it.
to be asked about your involvement in this case. Isn't that right?
Your Honor, at this point, I mean, Ms. Matney is being yelled at and harassed. She can answer the question.
She's
but
not being
I think
yelled
this
at.
has to come to a stop at some point.
Let's wrap it up. Go ahead and answer me.
I don't have anything else. I would love to answer that. Debbie, we suggested this week that we go to the Beaver County Courthouse and get all this done. You guys have said no. We suggested Eric Williams' office in Columbia.
Oh, I bet you
have
did.
been ready, willing, able. I want my life to go on from this. I want to be deposed. I want you to ask questions. I have nothing to hide.
Am I the only one that is wondering if the reason that she is so adamant about it being at a place that she wants it is because she's going to have it wired? So then she can send it out on her podcast, what was actually discussed? Am I the only one that is thinking this? Tell me in the chat whether I'm completely off base, but there is just a little too much conviction about needing this deposition to take place someplace that she's comfortable with. And at an attorney's, if you're that concerned, go to the freaking courthouse. I don't get it. I just want to feel safe during my deposition, and I don't feel like that's how much to ask. Well, Ms. Matney, I think that your wish will come true because tomorrow you will be deposed in a very secure location. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anything else?
Your Honor, can I call Mark Tinsley for just a very brief?
What? Oh, Dark Tinsley, huh? Oh, let me see this.
Ms. Matney, you released to come sit with us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Y'all don't know this, but I had a little brush. I had a little brush with the Mark Tinsley and the Vinnie Politan at CrimeCon last year. Before we go this evening, I'll show you what that was because I have video. Yeah, tomorrow you will be deposed.
Mr. Tinsley, I have just a few questions for you.
Because we're on the WebEx, tell us who you are, spell your last name, please.
My name is Mark.
Thank you, Counsel.
Mr. Tinsley, have you been copied on emails related to Ms. Matney's deposition?
Lots.
How would you describe the tone and tenor of those emails?
A lot like this here, contentious.
And
Contentious?
who was contentious in those emails?
Well, the amendment one,
And are you familiar with the office that the Parker's defendants suggested for Ms. Matney's deposition?
I was in attendance at Sarah Glass's deposition, and when it began, Wednesday, since she became an issue, I reached out to Mr. Moore. I said, it is a cubby hole in the office. They had indicated that there were going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 or 16 people in attendance, including Mr. Parker, Blake Greco, who's here today, Sparky, and Mr. Riker. Some of those didn't end up showing up. But when we were at Sarah Glass's position, it's a very small option, no window. But the real problem is that it is a bathroom, one hole, as we call it. And there's a keypad lock. There's no one in, maybe people working in very much in his office, but there's no receptionist, there's no one to tell you what the code is. And if there are 14 people in an all-day deposition, and you've had cancer like I've had, and you have to go to the bathroom, you got to go to the bathroom. And so I raised that to Mr. Moore, didn't want anything to do with it, and then y'all continued to argue. And I just was fair.
And I'm going to ask you this question preemptively because I think you'll be asked by the Parker's defendants. Have you reviewed anything that I filed in this case before I filed it?
No.
And did you
Not
and I
that you
discuss
know
the
of.
substance of your testimony, other than the fact that I was going to call you as a witness before I called you as a witness?
Just during the last break,
And how long did we talk?
that you were going to call on the split person.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have for you, Mr. Tinsley.
Anything?
Wait a moment, Your Honor. Very brief, Mr. Benson. How long ago was Miss Glass's deposition?
Pardon?
How long ago was Miss Glass's deposition in the Newton Law Firm?
Time possibly having one or not. It seems like it's a couple of months ago, but maybe it was slightly long.
All right, so that date will be in the deposition, wherever that deposition resides. All right, so can we agree that from that moment until this became an issue in the case, that at least there was notice that the bathrooms were one-holders as you've described them?
I'm not sure I follow. It is a one holder. It is shared with a dentist office. It has a keypad, but there's no place where the code is coming to like. Sometimes you go to conference rooms and there's a Wi-Fi password. That's not the case in this office. I personally had problems when we were there. This glasses.
So the knowledge that the bathrooms were a problem is something you've
I
had
will,
since
Debbie.
Ms. Glass's deposition, correct?
Sure.
And do you agree with me that the first time that the issue of the location became prevalent in this case, or we got some indication it was inappropriate, would have been either the Friday or Saturday before the Friday of the deposition?
First time I became aware of on Wednesday that I sent. I think I texted you in addition to sending Mark Moore an email about the accommodations and how they weren't suitable. And you have to drive by literally by the office that they proposed to get to this office, which is farther out.
And that Wednesday was the Wednesday prior to the Friday of the notice deposition, correct? No further questions.
Thank you. Anything at all? Certainly be careful.
See you tomorrow.
So I'm gonna stop us there because we know she's gonna be back in court on May 15th. We already know that. And Debbie is asking, please inform me who Mark is. Mark Tinsley is the attorney that represents the Beach family. The Beach family is Mallory Beach's parents. Mallory Beach is the young lady who was killed in the boating accident when Paul Murdaugh was allegedly driving the boat. And that Mark Tinsley was pushing Alex Murdaugh to give financials at the time, literally the day of the double homicide of Maggie and Paul. So don't anybody go anywhere. I hope that answers your question, Debbie. I have a little treat. I will, I got to find it. Give me just a second because I need to try to figure out how to share this with everybody. That is not what I wanted. Let me try to share this. I don't even know if I can. Oh, did I not download it? And now I can't share with all of you. Hold on, everybody. There's got to be a way for me to share this. let's try this. That's not it. Okay, hang on. I have to save this somehow. Of course, it's not going to let me because I'm trying to do this on the fly. Isn't that how it always is? I don't know how to make this particular part of my screen, how I can share it. And it's a video, and I want to make sure that you all can see it. And yeah, I have to save it as a file. Okay, well, I'll make sure. Don't you all, don't anybody I have it ready to go on Wednesday night. So, a couple things about CrimeCon, as long as I'm talking about it. Hang on just a second. I think I have too many screens open right now, so let me move it. Okay. I think I'm in good shape here. So a couple things about CrimeCon that is coming up here very soon. CrimeCon starts officially on Friday, the 29th of May. And I will absolutely be there. Absolutely. But a couple cases that they're going to talk about, I'm super excited for. One is the Las Vegas shooting. There is going to be an extended session on that. So when I come back from CrimeCon, you know I'm going to be doing, I might end up doing an entire show on it. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely give you the 411 on it, so to speak. And there is another case that I have followed for ages and ages and ages. It is also a Las Vegas case. It is the death of Ted Binion. Now, Ted Binion is an heir to the Binion fortune, the Binion Horseshoe Casino fortune on Fremont Street in old downtown Las Vegas. And there's going to be a breakout session on his particular case as well. I can't wait because I have certain cases that just really stick with me. His is one of them. And so when I come back from CrimeCon, we are definitely going to be talking about the death of Ted Binion because that I can't get enough of that case. And what else do I need to tell you all? I'll make sure that I have my video all sorted out. I was a little unprepared tonight, so I apologize for that. You haven't heard of Ted Binion? Oh, it's going to be a good live stream. We're going to have a ball learning all about Ted Binion. All righty. I don't think I have anything else right now to talk about. What we're going to do on Wednesday, since we ended this deposition, this hearing with Mark Tinsley, that's where we're going to pick up. We're going to pick right up with all of the legal wranglings that he is involved in. And once we're done going through the Mark Tinsley things, we're going to go to Courthouse Becky. And we're going to look at all the Courthouse Becky stuff that has happened. So plan on 6 o'clock on Wednesday, Wine and Crime Wednesday. Everybody get your rest. Take care of yourself. If you haven't left your DNA on the thumbs up, you need to do that. Thank you, everybody on the Twix. I see you, the numbers all out there. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody on replay crew, drop me a comment. I feel like I'm back into my comfort zone of the Murdaugh things. Everything that's happened with Murdaugh in the Low Country. And we'll be back here on Wednesday. You all know, I always tell you, it doesn't cost a penny to be kind. So find someone to do something nice for today if you haven't already. And remember,